What's your favorite scary movie?
This is HalloweenTown.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Beetlejuice.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
I raised a demon from the underworld, and they say, big deal. I saw the same thing on Jerry Springer.
What?
Oh, welcome, witches and warlocks and all the things that go bump in the night. We are here for another Halloween special for HalloweenTown.
Yeah, spooky.
Yes, and I am your host, Crimson Maroon.
Yes, and I am your local vampire bloodsucker geeky writer.
I am the creature from the Sinister Lagoon.
And I need a shave, because I'm Sprinks.
All right. And yeah, like I said earlier, we got HalloweenTown. A lot of us, a childhood film, but not for all of us.
I have no history.
Precisely, which is why I'm going to start with you. What is your history? With HalloweenTown?
It's very, very extensive. It's like I wrote an entire epic series off screen. So like there's 20 books, and I wrote a lot of fan fiction. And no, it's nothing. This is my first time. So
had you even heard of it before this?
I think I did hear of it when I was younger, or I heard of it, but I don't remember like anyone that I knew directly talking to me about it, and because of that, I never had any interest in delving into it. So,
all right. It was Disney Channel's fourth released Disney Channel original movie.
So it is a straight to movie.
I did not know that.
So is it like it was a straight to TV kind of movie? Like it was never
TV movie. Yeah.
Okay. Which I guess
that theatrically released.
Yeah, explains the green screen.
What are you talking about? Everything looks real in this.
Crimson, I have a question.
Yes?
Was Sky High a Disney Channel original movie?
Don't know. I didn't look into that.
He didn't watch Sky High. He watched HalloweenTown.
I will say no, because I remember seeing that in theaters.
Really? That was a theatrical movie?
Yep. I remember seeing that one in theaters.
Wow.
That answers my question.
And it does. Wow. Yeah, so this was the fourth one released. It was the second one that got filmed for the Disney Channel. Interesting. Sinister.
Yeah.
What's your whole history?
A little bit more than writers, but I probably watched this like every Halloween for like three or 4 years straight when I was a little kid. Because it would always be on Halloween season, and grew up with it a lot. It was like this and Hocus Pocus I probably watched like religiously every Halloween for a few years. And then as I got older, I drifted away from it a little bit because it was a little, it's definitely cheesy, but I still have a soft spot for it, and I probably watched this and the sequels a bunch.
Is Hocus Pocus that one movie with 3 witches, like
Yes.
in a modern town or whatever?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. With the guy with the mouse.
Got a sequel announced.
Yeah.
We're all excited for National Treasure.
Don't do that.
It's different.
Don't say that. Don't bring that up.
Anyways, yeah, so I've got a little bit of a childhood spot for this, but yeah, I was surprised when I rewatched it, like probably 5 or 6 years since I last saw it, how much I didn't recall.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of similar, where I guess I'll jump into it. My history with this is I used to watch this every year with my sister for quite a while. I've probably seen it 8 or so times. It's probably the one I've seen the most. I think I usually go in order. I don't think I just watch one out of order. We usually skip the last one where they recast Marnie.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen them all. The second one is probably the best in my opinion. But it's kind of enjoyable.
It's pretty good.
Precisely. Sprinks, your history.
I have seen HalloweenTown as of now. I think it's probably 4 times. It's a movie that I never owned or went out of my way to watch. It was somewhat like during October, and either I was at my grandma's or my siblings and I were watching something, and you get the commercial that said like tonight at 7 on Disney Channel, HalloweenTown. So we'd be like, oh, let's watch that, and we wait till 7 and then watch HalloweenTown on the Disney Channel.
You have to
so
wait
it's my
till a
experience.
time. You're old.
Yeah, that was my experience of it. And it wasn't because of that. It wasn't a staple Halloween choice movie. It wasn't like every year let's watch HalloweenTown. It was
Even
if
though
it was
Halloween was literally in the title.
yeah, because my family and I we watched other things. Charlie Brown's Halloween special, Nightmare Before Christmas, just other things than HalloweenTown. So I thought, watching this again, I've seen it before, and after finishing it, I only remembered about 20% of this movie. So a lot of cool stuff I did not remember.
Was it all the zippy one-liners?
No.
No, it was a lot of like the plot and what was happening.
You probably completely forgot about Luke, right? Because Luke's an
I did.
character.
I did.
Such an
remember Luke
integral
from-
character.
I remember
remember
Luke
Luke.
from the other movies because I've seen I think I've seen all the other ones. So I remember him in the second one, but I forgot he was in this one at all. When they first introduced him, I didn't recognize him. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And that's my history on HalloweenTown, or the Disney Channel movie HalloweenTown. I have a lot more experience with the Nightmare Before Christmas HalloweenTown.
Oh, yeah. The worst
what
one,
we're covering.
obviously.
Oh, hot take.
Take it.
This just in:
yeah.
Crimson will be killed as soon as the podcast is over.
That's
Angry
fine.
Mob,
It's
it's another
Halloween.
dark
I'll
side of the
be resurrected as something, I'm sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I did a little poking around, see if there's anything interesting behind the scenes of this. Poking around. And this was originally pitched to be a $20 to $30 million movie.
Jeez.
That was going to, that was going to go to, I think it was NBC. It was originally going to NBC.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was going to be a darker movie because of that. And for some reason, they didn't want it. And Disney bought it to use. So let's wait till childish now, opposed to its original dark plan, where the ending wasn't going to be what we got, but Marnie was going to go through a forest that ages you, which is why it's a risk to go to the jack-o'-lantern to light. So that would have been kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, it's weird how they would have been a totally different plot.
So once
Yeah.
again, Disney takes a really dark story and makes it lighthearted.
Yeah.
And like I said, 20, what did I say, 20 to 30 million? Yes. Budget.
20 million.
It turned out at the end to be 4 million. So it was quite a hit for their initial plan.
Yeah.
How much? Everything else, not that interesting. There's just a real HalloweenTown out there in Oregon somewhere. You know,
Yeah, I've been there.
the small stuff.
That's true. The set of HalloweenTown is still up.
Yeah, they have a festival every year there.
Yeah, I went last year. It was pretty cool.
I think it's called the Spirit of HalloweenTown, the festival.
Something like that.
And this movie came out in 1998. Was it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You get a piece of
golden
candy.
star. Well, piece of candy makes more sense. Take back what I said.
Yeah.
Thanks. Cool. Piece of candy.
Cool. Oops, candy.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start with the opening of the scene. I'm going scene by scene here, since it's short and not much really happens in this.
It's only like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, if that, with the credits.
Yeah.
So we get a cool shot of a pumpkin with some good music.
The music also was done by Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo fame. And what you would know him from is Disenchantment, Crimson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he do the
Yeah. That was so loud it cut off. It didn't come through. It was like.
Yeah, Discord did not like that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I wonder what the audio is going to sound.
Yeah,
It'll be something.
I do like we have a scary orchestral zoom in on the pumpkin, and then it cuts to whimsical, immediately after.
That was probably the one shot they kept of the darker script. Was that little ominous pumpkin sound, and then they immediately moved away.
Yeah, it was pretty good. One of the best looking shots, and it was the first one.
Yeah.
And we enter the pumpkin and see the light go out. I wonder if they're hinting towards the plot. It also makes... Oh, shoot. Should I jump around already? Might as well.
You're
Makes you wonder
hosting.
why they didn't have the torch and the pumpkin all along. Merlin's tells.
Yeah, it was. I think there's a bunch of history in this that we just don't get to know because they're just kind of rushing through it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also the magic of the
I love all the Arthurian legend references. They always made me smile.
Yeah.
And we get to see some trick-or-treaters through the streets as we go to the house.
And it looks like classic
house.
90s trick-or-treaters. Just a bunch of...
I know.
I think
any of you go trick-or-treating with that many kids jumping around, bouncing off the walls?
No.
I used to, where I used to live in California. So the neighborhood was very, very vibrantly big, and that was the only time I experienced something akin to that. And my house back in the day was a rest stop for me and my friends because it was the halfway point in our neighborhood, and then we'd arc our way back. So I do have some fond memories of lots of kids going around and trick-or-treating.
Did the Californians give a lot of full-size bars?
Yes, we memorized the locations that did that too. as we children do.
Yes. And I guess as we go into the house, we see Sophie, the little child, peering through the window, sad, while Marnie's complaining to her mom about not going trick-or-treating with her friends.
Yeah. Looking like Matilda over there.
I think this, unironically, I think just as we cut into the house, I think this has the worst transition of the whole movie. Where we have a wipe transition from a person walking across the camera.
Yeah. I wrote that down. Didn't look good.
It was the 90s, man. How did they know?
How did they know to do amazing transitions?
Yeah, how did they know what to do, man? It was the 90s.
I don't know. Do you think that was green screen or keyframe?
Probably green screen.
I'm gonna go with both.
It's really easy to tell usually if a movie's kind of shitty is what technology came out really recently and they just decide we're going to use that for everything. That's usually a pretty good point to go off of.
Prequels.
As far as editing wise, not shitty as in the movie's shitty, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. We get Marnie's friends. They're being very supportive of Marnie going trick-or-treating.
Trying to figure if peer pressure can work on parents.
It can't.
No, it can't.
What? I don't believe these friends. What friends would backtalk their friends' parents like that?
Yours?
Have you guys ever backtalked my parents?
No. We've laughed at your mom a little bit.
Well, that's true. She's very easy to get to make fun of.
I'm not brave enough to backtalk my friends' parents to their faces anyway.
I don't think
answer
anyone
this
can.
question at all.
Don't answer that question.
Yes. So
Yeah,
Marnie
you just said-
tries to guilt trip her mom by bringing up how her sister should go trick or treating as well. And
she's turning into an ornament.
yeah, do you want us to be
Wall ornament.
vegetables? And
Yes.
yes, that would be quite entertaining, potato girl. She calls herself a potato. It's fine. I said it. Okay. What do you guys think about the mom here? And I guess Marnie. You definitely get a feel for their characters here.
Yeah.
They do a lot of great quick characterization.
Yeah.
It's in that weird like 90s, like it's an over the top script,
Yeah.
which has its charm, but yeah, I do think that this scene does its job. We get a very quick establishing their characters, Marnie and her mom.
Springs.
It's,
So Marnie, I thought was just normal Disney teen, like a young Disney teen. So that fit. The mom was definitely, her trait is protective. That's just the main thing, and it's very bluntly just out there. But she goes with the whole trope of like, you don't understand.
Protective to the point of restrictive.
Yeah,
I won't
rather than
explain this
explain
at all.
things, it's just, you don't understand. You'll know when you're taller.
when you're taller.
Uh,
Yeah, that was funny though. I like that little line. I'll tell you when you're taller.
Yeah, I like most of the banter in
Mm-hmm.
this movie, even if it's cheesy, because it is fast characterization immediately. I mean, even with Dylan on the couch, when he's really
Yeah, the classic nerd.
sucks up to mom all the time. Oh,
He
shit,
gets
what
a
was the stuff
brown
he was
star.
saying about Halloween? What about your
It was like-
teeth and razor blades
Yeah,
and apples?
And,
or
yeah,
not
and,
real,
and you know,
but-
even the stated myth of razor blades in your apples.
Yes,
isn't possibly true.
the one character trait for him is nerd.
Nerd.
Yes. You should watch a nature documentary.
I may have laughed at that because that is something I like to do, but I wouldn't. I don't force it onto other people. So.
And they bring up Arbor Day. Where's our Arbor Day movies? That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's a real problem.
It's
That's
Lorax.
something I've been needing.
Oh, I thought it was open
That's
season.
true.
The Lorax.
Open season's about hunting animals, not cutting down trees.
Yeah, Arboreal.
Gully.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
It's cut
Avatar.
down trees.
Yeah.
Avatar's blowing up trees with nukes. So
Yeah. Well, that's the extreme. Yeah, that's what it's like. Just
The whole
chop
focus
down a tree.
is a giant tree.
we already passed it a little, but something I wanted to bring up was,
Yeah, go
I
on.
don't know whose choice it was for cinematography wise, but it was almost an extreme close up on Marnie
Yeah.
that was
Uh.
cutting off her chin and top of her head, and it was
What
too
chin?
close.
Yeah, I wrote that
Yeah,
down.
last jaw.
Pretty much everything in this house was filmed very close up, and I don't exactly know why. Were they
This
did
was
they
a
not have
confined
enough
space.
room for their
Yeah.
camera and crew behind them to stand or something?
I don't
That was
know.
right up to the actors. I have no idea. But
Maybe they
I
just
noticed that
weren't
as
willing
well.
to remove the house's furniture set because they filmed in an actual house.
That's probably true.
I fully believe that. Yeah, this is not a set.
They filmed Grandma's house at a bed and breakfast.
Well, look at you.
They didn't even build a set for that. Yeah, low budget, $4 million. Where am I? Arbor Day, yes. And we
Arbor Day.
yes, and we see a flying bus in the sky and a bus stop sign.
It's the magic
Land in
school
the
bus.
It's a magic school bus.
And this is what reminded me of Sky High.
Yeah, I got a Sky High vibe. My immediate follow up was, I don't think this is inconspicuous.
Well,
Especially as the bus is floating and then the sign just appears out of nowhere.
Mortal see, mortal do.
where's our flying
Also-
buses?
That is what she said.
On a little more serious, I guess, beforehand,
Whoa.
that wasn't covered, which is weird to me. They talk about their dad kind of
Yep.
sprinkled throughout this movie.
Yeah,
There's only
Mom and
one-
Dad met on Halloween.
There's only one image of him that's ever
We're
shown.
gonna show one image, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's the
I don't remember this.
when Marnie's on the couch saying a potato and looks over and Dylan says, don't talk about
Yeah.
dad around mom. She gets upset and looks over and there's a photo of the kids with their dad, which looks like some kind of birthday.
They met on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
big
the mom's
surprise
just
there. That makes
projecting.
sense.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
the one and
they-
only
They
image ever
explained
shown of the dad.
their meat. Yeah. It's not very important.
Hey, he's dead.
You can be dead and important.
I just think it's interesting that they got someone to play the dad or be the dad for this image that's only there once.
Well, I mean, it literally could have been a guy, but
It could have been
a
anyone.
crew
Yeah.
member. It could have been
Or
anybody.
they could have had a guy, or they could have had a bigger part for that, and they just cut it out. And so but that was like the one thing that was left.
True, they could have had a flashback.
Yeah,
Cut it out.
cut it out. They said too much money.
We don't want that.
1 million just for the dad? No.
No, 1 million for that amazing bus.
Yeah,
With the visuals.
that's actually some of the better, like green screen though. In this is the bus.
Especially since it's at night. I think that helps a lot.
Oh, yeah.
true. Yeah.
The end of the movie. Ooh.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the end of the movie? I think the best visuals is probably Calabar appearing on
Whoa!
the city hall.
Hey! Whoa!
Spoilers.
Too far.
Well, wait, I already talked about the ending.
I know, but you didn't spoil it.
Well, we see the grandma, and she reminds me of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, she
There you
she
go.
does have that little vibe, doesn't she?
Yeah, she floats down with an umbrella and has a bag that follows her around.
Yeah, she's like Mary Poppins if she did acid or something. You're right.
Well, I would say Mary Poppins if she was a witch, but sure.
Well, maybe
Is
she's
Mary
a
Poppins
witch.
not a witch? She's a witch, basically.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
She's a nanny.
Yeah.
You can be a nanny and a witch.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Not exclusive terms.
I mean, prime example of this is Nanny McPhee.
I would say that's more witch than Mary Poppins.
Yeah, see? Nanny
Yeah,
McPhee's
so-
nose? That's a witch nose, if I've ever seen one.
Stay tuned for next time when we bring up Nanny McPhee versus Mary Poppins.
Oh, yeah, where we watch The Return of Nanny McPhee.
It's a death battle. All right.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, Return of Nanny McPhee and Mary Poppins Returns. Wow, what a battle.
Oof. But
Could
yeah,
work.
Grandma's got a sentient bag, which has a mind of its own.
Interesting.
Which was Scottish. She had to be Scottish for that.
I
Grandma's got a Scottish bag.
could tell from the way the leather was worked.
I'm
there was no
dead
leather.
sexy.
What are we doing?
Anyways, go on.
Yeah, she leaves it behind, and it came and followed her anyways. Kids didn't want to be left alone. Poor little bag.
That
Sentient.
bag. Yeah, that bag reminds me of a show, Red Dwarf. They have a sentient bag, and they literally just put like a little remote control car underneath it to drive around.
That's what Dylan said. It must be
Yeah,
a remote controlled bottle. Whatever that means.
Now,
like a car on wheels.
Crimson, you probably know this question better since you've seen all these movies more. Is that the same bag that's the dragon-legged one in, I think, the high school one?
Yes, it is.
It
Yeah.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
They look completely different, but
Yeah. It's magic.
okay. I was just
Listen,
curious.
it improves as the special effects improve.
Yeah, it improved. Instead of just hovering above the ground, it grew 4 legs and became a CGI monstrosity.
You know what? It would have been better if they just kept that. Like, they could have done something really, visually striking, and they just, still just, roved around like a little car on wheels. But everything else, became massively better. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Sophie senses someone coming again.
She does it twice, though.
Yeah.
She says, somebody's coming, and then there's nobody out there, and then she says again, somebody's coming.
She realized the second Grandma's like, you know what, I'm going to go see my grandkids. And she really wants a cookie, but Gwen says no. After dinner, of course.
She has a lot of Gwen energy. She really does. Solid Gwen in the house. Yeah.
And a floating cookie happens.
A floating cookie?
Yes,
Sophie's magical.
Which
Harry Potter
reminds me a little bit of like Matilda.
I said the little girl, or Sophie, she's got Matilda. She looks like Matilda. I think that's what they're trying to rip off here.
When did Matilda come
out?
Danny DeVito. I don't know.
Wow. Throw that guy under the bus. 2 years before. It came out 2 years before, so it has possibility to be. Okay, so where's the fat kid eating a bunch of chocolate cake, and where's the, lady with the Iron Maiden?
The fat kid died and became a ghost and had to retrieve sweat from.
Oh,
yes.
Well, you're tying it together. There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
Gotcha. Yes, Gwen takes the cookie, eats it right in front of Sophie, mockingly. Cookies.
And then lies about it.
She tried to hide it at least.
Yeah, she did try. Failed. She should have said she was eating grapes or something.
She could also just have turned around. I know that's a big.
No, you don't turn your back to your kids. That's when bad things happen.
Especially when you're disciplining them. This sign of weakness.
It is. And Grandma Eggy arrives.
Got run over by a reindeer one Christmas.
Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Man, we should have watched that movie. When's that coming out?
Well, that's not a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
It's not? She gets run over by a reindeer. That's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
Go on. Don't let me slow you down.
No, slow me down. No. We get a lot of magic here without the kids realizing with that bag. And we find out...
They bought a tiki skeleton.
Yeah. This doesn't seem physically possible. I don't remember exactly
I assumed it was a bag of holding.
Yeah. The bag of holding. It was a TARDIS, obviously.
Yeah, it was Hermione's bag. Anything else that's bigger on the inside case?
It was just...
What
a weird... Did you think that was just something they found, or the tiki skeleton, or was that something they actually had to...
It was probably something they made for, it was probably something they made for another project, and they just reused it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm assuming a reused prop.
It just seems so random.
They probably just found it somewhere. Garage sale.
They were like,
there's a little bit of on the nose drama. Is do you think you and Grandma cannot fight for once?
One of the production guys, his stepbrother, was like, "Hey, I made this tiki skeleton. You could use it in your movie." He's like, "Oh, awesome! Thank you. I'll totally use this."
And then he did.
And then he did. And then it became iconic. And then we talked about it 30 years later.
30 years? Are we that old already?
No. But it's 1990 and 6 years.
Some of us are.
30 years.
Certainly feels that way.
Some of us are.
Some of us might be. Some of us will be. All of us are. No.
But yes, as the writer said, on the nose with some of the dialogue here.
Wow! Why is it so big?
Why is it so big? It's Marnie's 13th Halloween, and that's when a witch loses her powers as well. That's a little bit later.
Without training.
Yes, without training.
Other than the credits at the beginning of the movie to show its dating of what kind of movie this is, It's a Disney movie where they showed a pentagram.
Yeah.
So that's a bit dated. I don't think they would show that nowadays, or even say it that way.
No, they would.
Technically,
They could show it. I don't think they'd say it.
technically, it's a pentacle, but that's semantic, I suppose.
That is. Barney's not really that smart about Halloween stuff, it turns out.
No.
No, that's all she knows, though.
Yeah.
Something I found funny was
Hieroglyphs.
hieroglyphics, and then mother.
Mother.
Hieroglyphics?
Have you seen what hieroglyphs
It's the
before?
mother world. They don't talk about that in history class.
It's true. We never talk about ancient anything in history.
No.
Apparently,
That's
I'm doing magic all wrong.
You are. You gotta.
You just gotta believe in it.
You just gotta wish for it. You just gotta.
You don't want it
That
hard
makes
enough.
wishes seem so like. I don't know, silly. It makes them
Egotistical.
seem like. Yeah, it makes them seem like
I
baby
want
kids or something. Yeah, I want it. Give it to me.
Yeah, it is.
I want this lock to be a frog.
I do like the classic use of the Eye of Horus, though, as a hieroglyphic to immediately
yeah.
paint it as a Egyptian origin, which I do appreciate, I suppose.
There you go.
It's too bad they didn't really even go into it. They were just like, wow, I've seen this before in the Book of the Dead. This eyeball.
You're so smart, Marnie. You must get A's. Actually, she gets B's and C's.
I get A's.
I get the
I do
A.
have in my notes. It was a little after this. I just wrote, "This Dylan kid stinks."
Oh, Dylan's great. Him always trying to
the best
disprove
part
the
is when
obvious and everything.
Such a
It's just a
buzzkill.
hallucination.
Yeah, no, he gets way better once they actually go to HalloweenTown. I remember as a kid, I was like, this is stupid.
Well, yeah, as a kid, I didn't like Dylan, but
Yeah, no.
as a cynical
no, as a
adult,
kid, you hate-
I find him amusing.
That's because you are
Yeah.
Dylan now.
Yeah, as a
become
kid,
Dylan.
I imagine I wouldn't like Dylan. As an adult, I do find him more amusing, just because I'm cynical.
That's because he's getting a brown star all the time.
Yeah, speaking about Brown, what is his costume even supposed to be?
A pimple, of course.
Well, not-
It's like a troll or a goblin. I don't know. There's a bunch of like crazy stuff in this that I don't know what it's actually supposed to be.
A chubby Viking? I have no idea.
He's a chubby Viking. Yeah, but he has a big. He's got like a peach for an ass. What the hell is up with that?
Marnie also gets a Wiccan costume.
Yes.
Wait, yeah, I do like that they distinguish witch and Wiccan. That's
I do like that as well.
yeah.
And Sophie was a ghost. Which
And she did a
foreshadows her
race-
mocking.
Yeah. Another. There's another ghost in this.
I know, it's not just her in the costume.
Yeah, isn't
man.
there? I remember the mom really trying to talk to the grandma as well in this scene, but like the kids just got so jubilant when they saw the costumes that I think she just postponed the conversation.
Yeah,
Well-
she was like, I think she assumed that like she was trying to get them to like trick or treat or something, and that was like not gonna happen.
Yeah, the grandma was hyping them up. She even got them costumes. That's for trick or treating.
That's for trick or treaters.
Yeah, and party
That's for
goers.
pretty little children, not for my good little man.
Who wants to recreate a ghost moan, a real ghost moan? That the grandma taught us.
Yeah, because what you don't understand is that most ghosts are quite depressed.
Yeah. But yet they can interact with physical objects. Well, why would they be sad?
Because they're
and-
really, because they everybody can see through them.
We find out why Eggy is here, other than just egging on the children. She wants Gwen to go back to HalloweenTown, back home. Since there's nothing tying her here, there's no William.
William, we get his name.
Isn't that after the like the fairy tale putting them to bed scene?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, that is. No, that is.
According to my notes,
Oh!
and I took this in order. Let me see if I skipped a bedtime. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. I'm looking
Okay.
at my notes.
I'm looking at my notes.
Whose
Yeah,
notes are the real
I don't
ones?
have either of those written down.
Well, that's Mr. One Page. No,
So-
they had a brief talk before the bedtime stories, and then bedtime
did.
stories, and then they had the deep talk with the chickens later. So after that, presumably, because
Whatever,
I couldn't see the
whatever.
future when I wrote my notes, we tell a bedtime story to the kids.
It's less of a story and more
This
of an
is
allegory.
when Gwen tells Grandma not to tell them anything about HalloweenTown.
And what does she do?
Don't
Immediately
worry.
tells a story about HalloweenTown.
Well, she
Well, yeah,
tries to
it's a rule break.
circumvent it and poke without directly giving it away, and then jumps all in.
Oh,
What book? What? Who wrote this book?
what book?
Is this a real book?
Yeah, I think- well, it's based
on a
real book.
I think we should clarify that this is not real because there's a child in the room.
Yeah, this is not a real thing. Child.
I think it was cool. This is a way of them showing concept art
I mean, they
Like,
actually
yeah.
made this
into
book.
a book. Well, true. I mean, beforehand, like for the start of the first movie, because I don't think they had all of them planned out. What was made in the book probably was concept art of what the town looked like, especially for the I guess cover or the map look of HalloweenTown.
I do like the art style that they used for the cover. It's very kind of goosebumpsy, rural folklore kind of thing.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
This movie does feel very goosebumpsy, sugar-coated goosebumps.
Sugar-coated goosebumps. The new candy
Disneyfied.
crossing America. Disneyfied. It was on Nick. Wasn't it?
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Anyways.
Doesn't matter. We get Dylan saying he was checking on the temperature of the room to conserve energy.
Make sure it's all set to 68 degrees.
68.
And he just wants to hang out.
Yes. He doesn't want to admit it, but he wants to hang out with Grandma.
Grandma.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
What are your guys'
Should
thoughts
turn
of
into a
this whole, I guess, bedroom scene? I don't
Dylan's
wanna go
still
into
a
full
jerk.
detail or anything. Dylan's a jerk.
Dylan, he's a brown
he's
noser.
a buzzkill. Everyone's having fun. Money and Sophie, they're enjoying it and talking with Grandma, and Dylan's just there. And he's just doubting everyone. That doesn't look like you. It's too cute. You idiot.
You perv. It didn't look like her, though.
No, it looked like
Some
any.
generic girl. And I did see that the artist for that book was given a photo of her to make it look like her. So I
yeah.
feel like the artist kind of failed in that one. I'm sorry.
Well, he worked
Mr.
for
Mr.
Disney, so he
Bookworm.
probably brushed her up a little bit.
I thought he did he got a general look down, but it was definitely a lot of the details are missing.
I think the only thing that I thought was like off was I think the nose was not the same. That was the big difference.
So I agree with Dylan in regards to that. Which I don't know about the cute
okay,
part.
well-
I don't agree with that, but it not looking like her. That's true. We get one of my favorite lines in this. My story's about a magical place where many different sorts of creatures live together in peace. Like Cleveland? I hear they have a great schooling system. Hilarious.
Hilarious, Dylan. You should be on Leno.
And
Comedy
everyone in
Central.
Cleveland loved that line.
Yeah, they were
They
like,
acknowledged us.
we exist.
It's finally something other than our basketball team to give us identity.
Sad truth. I don't know if it's that sad.
Somewhat sad.
Yeah. Grandma kind of gives a message like you can't judge a monster by its looks. Good message, I suppose.
Yeah.
And right when she was getting into the Cromwell history, Mom walks into the hallway, pulls her out pretty much.
Just standing there menacingly in the doorway for a second.
Mother, I told you not to tell them anything. I don't know why I went like annoying British woman.
Annoying British woman.
You're doing accents all over the gaff.
I'm just so
Just a
high
gaff.
on energy right now. Ooh.
I
Not
think it
tired
was
at all.
Feeling
There's a nice
feeling it.
detail. I didn't catch it, I guess, the first time of the cover of the book, but when Marnie's looking at the cover of HalloweenTown, the font written for it is the same font used for all the names in the beginning credits.
There you go. Nice little Sprinks detail. Boink.
It's a nice neat pick.
Classic Sprinks detail.
I catch those things.
He catches it.
And now we get the mother and grandma argument, which the kids foreshadowed could be a possibility here. And it happened.
Because
Shocker.
Grandma always starts it. Does not. Does too. Does not.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
But did Grandma start it? Or did Gwen start it?
Or did they both just start it? Because
It was a mutual agreement to mutual destruction, is what it was.
Grandma started because she came uninvited.
But it was a genuine nice visit.
Why don't you go back to
It was a nice
Cleveland
visit,
where you belong?
but no one knew she was coming, so she started it.
Well, doesn't she come every year, though?
No, that's a weird thing. They say like
I
she
don't
hasn't come in like years.
I assumed she
so-
came annually. So I assumed that
Yeah.
they were expecting her. They just didn't know when she was going to be there.
No, I feel like they said like in the beginning, like when she showed up, that she hadn't come in a few years. So I think she probably had come annually, and then her mom was probably like, "I don't want you coming here anymore. It just brings up more questions." And she was like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna do what I want."
I don't remember that version.
That was my version, the unabridged.
You're gonna ruin 1,000 years of tradition. Which is very selfish.
Yes.
The mom is very selfish in this.
Well, Crimson, what movie is it where I think Marnie goes like back to medieval times?
What?
Isn't
That
that one of them?
that's the last one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe
That's
it
where they
was
get the
that one
whole
because the
Cromwell
monster-
family heritage and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that's the
Because
last
you
one.
said Cromwell, it's been around for years. So I was just curious where that one was.
Yes,
She's
I
her
believe
own
that's the last
grandmother.
one. It's the one I
Seriously?
remember the least.
I think this abridged version you watched is very different.
Well, no, I never saw the last one, so I was just going. I didn't know what you were talking
You don't need
about.
to. It's the worst one, I think.
Yeah.
As a recast and all.
I thought the high school one was the worst, but
I mean, that one's pretty
It
bad
was-
too. It's
Yeah.
the second one's the good one. That's all. The takeaway of how
Mars Revenge.
the second one.
Calabar's Revenge, where they misspell his name, or they change the spelling of his name.
Yeah, they do a K on that one, don't they?
Yeah, the first one the first one doesn't make any sense because it's a CH, so it's Calabar, not Calabar.
is it CH?
What's it going? Yeah, that's on his desk. Yeah. That's why I was like, I remember being a K, and I was like, wow, that's weird. I guess I remembered it wrong, and then I saw the poster for the second one. I was like, oh, yeah, they just changed the
CH on
spelling of it.
desk?
It was,
Okay,
yeah.
when we come across that, I'll need to see that.
The
When they,
subtitles just say C, so that'd be an interesting discrepancy.
When they had the beginning credits for all the characters, it said Robin Thomas as Calabar, and it's just Calabar.
Prop department screwed
that's-
up.
Yeah, that's weird that they changed his name in their own movie.
Yeah, the argument, I guess, was a okay argument. Wasn't like scream at each other or anything.
No, the kids were
No,
sleeping.
just the mom being selfish, yeah, and just deciding, no, I'm going to do it this way. Fuck
I'm
you.
gonna end 1,000 years of tradition because I want to be normal. I don't know. What do you guys think of Gwen's motives for keeping it from the
Still
kids?
protective. She's just overprotective.
Definitely
Do
overprotective.
you think it's
I needed,
justifiable? Or?
I needed more to understand why she holds that in such
Well-
like high regard. But I'm okay with her being like this. I just wanted more reason as to why.
One of my things would say was like maybe she thinks that Moral World is safer than Halloween Town, but I don't think that's true at all because Halloween Town, like everyone's supposedly immortal
Hey, kids.
or lives a long time and all this, but Moral World, you got Mortal World, you got shootings, you got a bunch, you got bad things that happen.
Well, Springs, remember, Benny says, he was like, yeah, there's some real, there's some real dark entities over here.
Some questionable characters like Luke.
Man,
The
Luke.
local punk.
yeah,
That's
local
true.
punk. All he does is knock over brooms all day long. What a freaking monster. They don't say monster because that would be
He got
a slur.
plastic surgery as a teenager.
Plastic surgery.
Well, I guess I'll ask this now because I'll probably forget later. So,
Yeah, go on.
how do you think aging works in Halloween Town?
Well, at least from what, yeah.
The grandma said she was around during that was Marlene's time, right?
King Arthur.
Yes.
King Arthur. Because that's when she was perfecting her recipe, so she could be even way older than that for all we know. I think that's the furthest back we get on her age. So I wonder how the aging works, because the mom is aging at a normal human pace, but the grandma presumably doesn't, right? Unless she's looked old for centuries instead of it being a steady aging process.
Well, she said they need to be back by midnight in the Moral World, which Marnie said it would be 2 hours. And then Grandma replied, 2 hours could be 2 days, but on weekend or vacations could be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is a funny joke, but does that actually, is that an actual thing in their time? It's like,
Well,
oh, this
yeah.
is vacation?
That would mean Halloween Town.
They just age
Presumably
slower.
people would age faster, right?
No, in Halloween Town they would age slower.
Yeah.
I mean, they would age slower in the real world, but in Halloween Town, wouldn't
Like
they be
Narnia.
aging? Yeah, like Narnia.
Well, yeah, Narnia is not really a great example, though, because technically when they come out of the wardrobe, they all become kids again.
And then when they enter again, it's been a couple hundred years or whatever.
Yeah.
Time has passed.
But, yeah, time has passed. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird thing where they don't really explain it, probably because if they explained it, it'd be really complicated and it would sort of slow the movie down dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Here's-
I do wish they
you
would
guys'
have probably
thoughts on
like.
this?
Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed it was just because time moved differently, and then also she's a witch, so she can probably use some like spells or something to change her appearance. So maybe like generally she doesn't look old, but for the sake of like visiting her grandkids, she has to look older.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we saw that. that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah.
Purposely aging yourself to show in front of your kids.
Yeah, I know that. I feel like that was something in a. I saw that in something else, but I can't remember what. Where it was like that, where they were technically immortal, but they made themselves look older. So to.
Don't know if my math is correct on this, but with what I just went with, if
We're all strong
if she's not going with the vacation joke, but if she's thinking a day is an hour in the mortal world, then a whole year in the mortal world would be 8,760 days in Halloween Town.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I think like the difference is though is that like that's also, you know what, that brings up more questions because technically then how would they fall on? Because then Halloween would come like 2 or 3 years after it was supposed to, or like before it was supposed to happen, right?
Halloween Town would happen. Halloween would happen all the time. Halloween.
Yeah.
Or no, that would be the opposite. It would take forever to show up, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't think they thought about that.
I think you stumbled on a major plot hole in this movie. Is the time dilation.
Which is interesting because they tackle time travel in the second one, I believe. Right?
A little bit. Yeah.
And then
so.
obviously the fourth one with that as well. Whoopsie daisies on that box. We also get to see some pretty amazing feats of magic during this argument where the grandma could just create life. Very powerful magic.
No spell.
Yeah.
Just occurs.
So they ate chicken wings for breakfast, or not for dinner. They ate chicken wings for dinner.
Yes. Your favorite Halloween snack?
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, I just was like, I didn't remember that part, and I was like, that's kind of weird that they had leftovers of hot wings.
That's not too weird.
It's weird if you're having like dinner for like the same amount of people every time. No.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I guess there's no like specialized Halloween dinners, right? Does anyone have a Halloween dinner? So it's normal food
Sprinks
with
does,
candy.
probably.
Right? Sprinks, do
Pretty
you have a
much.
Halloween?
Well, my family kind of does like jokey foods, like witch's fingers. Gosh, what are some of them? Eyes of Newt. Frankenbuns, just like all these different foods that are just named and themed, but they're just normal foods to look like stuff.
What would you call macaroni and cheese for Halloween?
Slime brain. I don't know. Yellow slime brain.
Fine.
Well, you can actually just
Yellow
food color
slime brain.
you can food color your mac and cheese to be green.
I have done that before. I've done that before. Oh, disappointed. No, that was my Christmas macaroni. I put green dye in.
And you ate it, and you said, yum.
I can't even taste the dye. It's unfortunate. I wanted to taste it.
Well, you should have done red dye.
I've done that before as well, and it just turned out pink. So
it's a certain type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you remember the color wheel? Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. I'm a fool. Let's see. We find out there's an evil going on. People are getting mad and angry and evil, and then disappearing.
Weird that they would get mad and angry and then disappear.
Yeah. Oh, they rage quit life. There's.
Yeah.
And Gwen doesn't really believe Grandma at all.
She says, "Listen, I'm sure you can find a better witch than I."
Yeah, and even if it is real, I can't just leave my kids. Well, bring the kids with you. Problem solved. Movie over. Chop chop.
Chop chop.
But unfortunately, we see that Grandma's a lot more bark than bite in this. She doesn't really do much.
She I know Marnie's ends up hearing into the conversation at the end.
Yes.
Because she sees the magic trick, right?
She does see the chickens getting resurrected.
Yeah, and she's like,
and getting murdered.
Holy fuck!
I'm a witch?
I am a Wiccan?
You're a witch, Marnie. What?
See, that's what they should have done.
Grandma leaves, and Marnie goes and tells Dylan, I'm a witch, what do you think?
I found that very weird. I don't know why she would go to Dylan of all people.
Because he's the sane one, so she needs to check her sanity. It's a sanity check. Yeah. I think it proves insanity is hereditary. I just hope boys are immune. Hilarious. Way to go, Dylan. Way to make fun of your sister. That's the way to go.
Way to go, Dylan.
Yeah. They see Grandma leaving with the bag following her. And Dylan's like, "Oh, it must be one of those RC controlled models." Like,
Which is what it probably is exactly.
is there an RC model for moving purses?
No, they
Dylan,
well
is
no
that
what they what
standard,
they
issue?
no what they do is they just take the motor of that or like in the wireless adapter of that and then just like repurpose it into the case usually. Practical magic.
Marnie leaves. Dylan follows. He's the man of the house after all. And they enter the bus through the back somehow.
Yeah,
Are you able to enter the back of a bus?
not from the outside.
No,
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
but this is a magic bus.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is one scene I do like is there's a moment where the mom is watching television, listening to a commercial, like removes stains like magic, and she just rolls her eyes, and I actually find that amusing. It's very,
No, yeah.
it adds a lot of
She's
character
like, "No,
to
it
her.
doesn't." I remember like few. I remembered more scenes of the mom just kind of doing magic than what was in the movie. Maybe I'm thinking of the second one.
Probably. She isn't.
She only has one. Yeah, she only does one scene with magic. It's later on, but
Well, across the 4 movies, there were only 2 consistent cast members. And that was Gwen, the mom, and Dylan. Everybody else either wasn't around or got recast.
that's the business, and we call show.
Yep.
So they get on the
Sprinks,
bus.
you got a line on this bus you like?
You got a line on this bus.
What
Don't you?
do you like on this bus?
As a whole, or you want me to just talk about the line?
Both. It's all
okay.
encompassing.
I just thought it was a funny line of all these monsters and ghouls returning back to HalloweenTown after their visit to the mortal world and learning from what they've seen how the world's slowly changing, which is kind of nice foreshadowing for the future of the film, but just slowly changing of what used to be terrifying with the line of like raising a demon from the underworld is just something people see nowadays or just happens.
It's just par for the course. Another Tuesday.
Yeah. Also think it's just a odd mashup of characters and I guess just monsters on this. Some are kind of unrecognizable of what they are, which is later when they actually get to Halloweentown. Just some of these things I don't know what they are. But it almost I mean you're going between worlds, but it does slightly remind me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory while on the boat ride. It's not as dark as that, but it's just like all these flashing greens and oranges with these weird things going on outside the bus and these creatures inside. So
yeah, that was not a movie I thought to compare, but I guess that
There
works.
you go.
What did you guys
earlier.
think of the makeup in this?
well,
It's
it was a
weird.
lot of masks.
Yeah,
Because there's a
it's-
lot of monsters that just have masks and their arms are totally fine.
It's weird because like some of them that are supposed to, like it's even like the ones that are like kind of supposed to be like skin tight or so it looks like it's their actual face. Just because they find a Halloween mask and then just makeup put around it so it would blend in with the rest of their skin. Very odd sometimes, but it looks some of it looks pretty good, some of it not so much. But
What character do you think had the best makeup? Or I guess just overall cohesive look.
Maybe Frankenstein. The Frankenstein looking guy was pretty good.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, he was pretty good. The werewolf was pretty good.
Not the Tooth Fairy.
I like the Tooth Fairy.
That's because you will be the Tooth Fairy one day. You're gonna be.
I'm going to look like that?
You're gonna have that huge nose.
Yikes. I'm
Yikes.
sorry, Sprinks.
Yeah, well.
I'm the Tooth Fairy after all.
I don't know. Mine's probably spoiler. Calabar.
Oh, wait, what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looks
I think they did a
good.
good job with Calabar.
Oh, which version?
The
His
cool
regular one.
version.
Yeah, he actually looks like his evil version all the time, and they actually use makeup to make him look human. And
That's true. The actor looks like a bad guy.
he did, yeah.
Even when he's all happy, cheery, good guy, I'm like, those are evil eyes.
That's evil hair.
That's an evil man. I think Ryder picked up on it pretty quick as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, hey, he's pretty cool. And then I wrote ... Ah, he's the bad guy, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's a really good thing he didn't know anything about the sequel, because then it would have totally given it all away.
Yeah.
I think Dylan's comment in the bus was one of the few comments I don't like. I'm like, hey, dude, where's the ground outside? Because he comments about like it not being real or whatever.
It's just a dream.
That's what he
Oh, yeah,
concludes at the end.
This whole thing's one big dream, and you're gonna wake up at any moment.
Yeah, there's several times where he's like, "Oh, it's just a hallucination. It's a dream. We actually fell asleep on the bus," which is weird that he referenced the bus because even then that was weird. So, yeah.
Even then, that was weird. Yeah, well,
Come on, Dylan.
They got on the bus, and then before it left, immediately fell asleep.
They bonked their head on the door on it.
Yeah.
Knocked themselves out. Makes sense.
Exactly.
And we get a cool shot of Halloweentown as the bus descends, and Grandma sees a friend.
Yeah, who's like a she's
Harriet.
like, oh, Harriet the spy.
I volunteer at the Headless Shelter, which was pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
The world
And all
building,
the
the
muffins
world
for people
building,
to eat 'em.
the world building in their exchange is hilarious to me because she's going to the headless morgue or whatever to give people muffins.
Yeah, the Headless Shelter they give muffins. I love that there's a whole shelter just for headless people.
Well, that
There's
just
that
shows you how
many of
many
them.
headless people there are. Yeah. They probably got cut. They were like, that's too creepy. We can't show that to kids.
Too creepy. Grandma getting frozen was creepy. That was scary.
Yeah. That wasn't that creepy.
Oh, I was terrified as a kid.
As a kid,
That's a
you were
lie.
terrified of getting frozen?
I mean, wouldn't she be afraid to get frozen?
Isn't it funny, though, that he freezes people, but his thing is fire?
Their magic in this visually is not great.
Well, yeah.
He also has to hit people several times with his freezing ability.
A strong will, yeah.
Yeah, I have the will to not be frozen today. I'll shoot you again. Darn, my will's gone.
I'll shoot you. Yeah.
Yeah, we get Dylan and Marnie leaving the bus, and Dylan's rationalizing everything. What's the monsters I pretend? This is all a dream.
Monsters aren't real.
And then
And
suddenly
Sophie-
Sophie appears.
Yeah, Sophie appears. Oof. I
she
don't know
was
how
nowhere
she's
near.
there.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't know either.
She was on top or under the bus while it was flying. Because she didn't enter through the back or through the front door. Maybe she entered through the emergency windows.
Maybe she just
Or
astral
yeah,
projected.
the
So maybe
ceiling.
she really didn't leave her bed until later, but
Well-
she astral projected just to be there, and then made a portal for herself to get there.
Well,
She's that
She-
strong.
she has been shown to be the most powerful magic user so far. So, there
It's
you
true.
go.
Well, technically, she's been shown to be the only magic user so far.
Well, yeah.
Cluck, cluck.
Cluck, cluck.
And then the mayor arrives. What a swell man he is.
Yes, and all
Hey,
his Halloween regale.
he's a nice guy. He gave him a lollipop that they rudely said no to.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want it. He's like, oh, okay. Poof. And then he keeps
Yeah,
calling her Soapy.
Yeah, that they were talking about the bad thing, and they're like, "What bad thing?" And then the mayor walks in, like, "All right, there you go.
Okay, Disney. All right.
Good job, writers. You ruined it immediately." I don't know. That's a trope that I tend to see a lot, where they reference some evil or some bad guy, and the bad guy enters. Awesome.
You don't think that's cool? That's wicked.
Yeah, we get to see the mayor's interest in the mother here.
Yeah, he's like, is Gwen here? Where is she? I'm like, no, it's just us. He's like, oh, fucking damn it again.
He got cucked again.
He got. It's true.
His motivations suck.
It doesn't make any sense.
That is true. Yeah.
I'm evil because I didn't get the girl. It's so lame.
I mean, that's why Daenerys Targaryen burned down a city, killing millions of people that lived in King's Landing. Because Jon Snow.
Game of Thrones again.
Because Jon Snow refused to sleep with her.
It's been like 3 years. Give it a rest.
No.
I will rest when I'm dead.
I will rest when they fix it, and they won't, so they're never going to happen. Anyways.
Yeah, they ask Caliban where the grandma is.
Caliban.
Caliban is the guy.
Korriban.
Yes. He says she's at the same house for the past 200 years, and this is when you kind of get a scope of her age.
She's only 50.
50, huh?
Yeah.
He calls
Even
Benny
a witch
over.
has to have a little modesty. Yeah.
And, Benny rides up in his sidekick cab.
And they're like, whoa!
Whoa, this is a robot.
Whoa! He has some
it's
of the
an animatronic,
worst...
like at Disneyland.
Oh, so bad. Hurts my eyes.
I like it.
It's weird because when it's a far away shot, you can tell it's a prop, but when it's up close, it's full CG.
Yeah, it's really weird, and it's not done very well. Is the problem? Yeah. I think.
I don't think Benny was CG at all.
No, he was. There's no way. That was.
He was a robot.
That was all an animatronic.
Yeah.
That's even worse then.
That's why I like it. He was an actual animatronic.
I mean, it would explain why he's smoother than most of the other CGI if he is an animatronic.
I mean, he is. This isn't question. He was a animatronic.
I wasn't raising it as a question. I was raising it as a statement of fact.
I think that's also why when Benny is just talking normally or isn't cracking a joke and just speaking about something, they're constantly still moving his face around just to get the full, I guess...
He was actually a robot.
...movements of him. He wasn't just kind of like straight face, just moving his mouth.
The actress from Arnie, years later, said one of her fondest memories of filming this was acting with the robot because it just kept making these loud screeching noises. Because they had to dub over, obviously, because they can't have screeching robot noises.
Yeah.
No, that would have been better if it was just...
Oh, so what you're saying is the robot is method acting when the dog is finally let loose on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you know what? I don't. It's not the. It's not the animatronicness thing that I don't like. It's the. It's because they give him. They have because they don't have any like facial recognition. It would just be like flapping mouth. It's like the eyebrow raising, like the forehead. I don't like that.
And he's definitely one of the most expressive skeletons I've seen.
Yeah. It's fine when he's just like, it just looks like it's like constantly moving is the issue.
Yeah, it's not because his face is made out of bone. That's the thing. He's made out of rubber.
Yeah, so it just looks off-putting. But I don't dislike him. But it's like watching his face just keep moving after he's stopped is weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yes, the kids enter the cab, and Luke says it's illegal to drive. Is it illegal to drive without eyeballs? Like, funny
He
again,
doesn't have
Dylan.
eyeballs. Dylan, you're a funny guy. Get the hell out of this cab right now.
Why aren't you the main character, Dylan? Get Marnie out of here. She's too whiny.
He looks. I will say he looks way cooler in the second one than he does in the first one. Benny. Way
Well,
cooler.
which version of Benny?
The one that's not alive.
Okay. And this is when we learn about Luke being punk and all that nonsense. We get to the Cromwell house. They have no money. Benny says a pun that I don't remember.
He was like, "Just catch me in the afterlife."
And drives off.
Yeah, and then there's a locked gate, and Dylan's like, "Oh well, time to go home now." She immediately gives up.
Yeah, I found
Do you
that.
guys think he doesn't want to discover the truth, or he's just that negative?
Hey, he just doesn't. He doesn't want to get in trouble, probably.
I'm honestly thinking he is that negative. If he was more of a truth teller, they could have done a little bit more to flush that out with what we know about him. But they've gone consistently negative more than being truth teller. So I'm leaning that way. I think he genuinely just wants to go home.
He wants to go home.
We get Marnie trying and failing tremendously to
be magical.
open that gate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open sesame, abracadabra, all that nonsense.
Avada Kedavra! Oh wait, wrong
nonsense.
curse. Sorry, Sophie.
Leviticus, Viticus.
And Sophie opens it by wishing it was a frog, and the other two didn't acknowledge or hear her or see the frog while they walked by and entered the grandma's, I guess, property. What do we have next? We get the cool microwave.
Microwave for potions.
Oh yeah, bubble bubble toil trouble.
Yeah, witch's brew, baby.
Yeah, and grandma's like, somebody's coming. And how come she didn't figure it out like 5 minutes earlier like Sophie did with her grandma? That's a problem.
She's in the middle of a spell.
It just shows that Sophie's way stronger than grandma.
Well, yeah, she's younger.
Or their consistency with their magic is inconsistent.
That's not possible. That doesn't make any sense.
You watch your mouth.
Heresy. They bring up that they haven't figured out long distance calls yet. Once the
Like
children
6,000 years or something. Yeah.
So I guess you can't call ahead then.
Oh,
But Thank you, Keith.
I promise to never. I
kids
promise to
wanna
never crack a joke again.
Well, hold your
Go on.
we find out the 2 hours equals 2 days, but I don't know. What, do you guys have anything to really talk about this whole house scene?
This is where we get the Arthurian legend stuff, or more of it anyway,
Yeah.
with the whole Merlin staff when they're. The reunion is very nice, and Grandma immediately knows she's gonna get in trouble because they're here.
Yeah, and she also realizes that she also disappoints Marnie a little bit with how low or how it's like, no, I'm just gonna fill it up and just see if it works.
But I
You're
will
not
have to do a spell.
I will have to do a spell.
Yeah,
She's
she-
like, oh,
I
okay,
think
good,
she has
good.
justification enough to let them stay as well. Just like she actually does need the help.
Yeah.
Oh, plus she disregards Gwen's wishes all the time, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's part of the course.
Yeah, this is a freebie for her.
Freebies.
She didn't have to work for it. Kids
Well,
came
she
to
didn't.
her.
She didn't have to apply them with any candy or sweets or double gumdrop buttons.
Yeah, I think this is where I brought up my first notes about aging as well, as when she talked about being in King Arthur's court and how Merlin used the talisman to end the Dark Ages. I appreciated that, and then I'm like, how old is the dad when he died? Did he die like 50 years ago? Did he die like recently? Because I don't think
It
any of
would
the
have been
kids.
recent because
I don't think any of the kids know their dad.
no, they know.
No,
'Cause there was a
they know
picture
it's
with
that-
them.
the family
Yeah,
photo.
there's the photo
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't have a family photo, but I don't think they ever know him. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't there to raise them.
That
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then I thought about it's like, did he die of old age then? Because maybe Gwen just doesn't age in the mortal world.
Well, I don't know about that because the kids age at a normal pace.
Yeah, because she's like 13, and yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
What
but they are half
not making
human.
sense.
But again, I don't. That's just external world building problems. So
Yeah, we find out never to make witch's brew with instant witch brew. Fun.
That's what I get. Yeah, I went because it had been a while since I watched it, and so I was like, wait, so she's making because she talks about like I perfected my witch's brew in the 6th century or King Arthur's time or whatever, and I was like, wait, so then you formulated it so it could be like mass produced or something, and then put it in, and then she's like, damn it, I should have known to make it. I don't know.
yeah, she complains about how in the way that instant mashed potatoes are no match for real mashed potatoes. That's what amused me about it. I
I beg
suppose.
to differ.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're both.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
And
I
we
think
find
it's
out
smoother.
the ingredients for witch's brew: vampire's fang, hair of a werewolf, and the sweat of a ghost. Fun ingredients to get. Yes. Sweat of a ghost. Interesting one.
Yeah, because a ghost has no mask.
I wonder how many items they had on the writer's wall. All right, what are these items we need to get?
Throw a dart.
Ghost sweat. Huh? No. Gargoyle's toes. No.
No.
No. Okay, looks. Yeah. This is when Gwen finds out the kids are gone. How
Yeah,
come she
well,
couldn't sense that they were gone? Much like Grandma could sense the Marnie listening in at the kitchen.
Because she's let her powers degrade.
Oh, she turned into Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. She's disconnected herself from the Force.
Wait, is this the next part? Yes. Grandma takes the kids through HalloweenTown, and we get introduced to the whole Mortals See Mortals Do line, and we find out how the parents met each other at a Halloween party. All romantic, beautiful Halloween party.
Romantic, beautiful.
We go to the movie theater where they have It's a Wonderful Death. Sparks' favorite movie.
Ha ha ha!
I haven't seen It's a Wonderful Death. I haven't seen that.
Oh, have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Maybe that information can be disclosed at a later date to the audience. That's a good secret.
Okay.
He's seen it. There we go. It's over. Secret's over.
Sister, why?
Because that's stupid.
We see Harriet's back, but she doesn't look like Harriet anymore.
Yeah,
She
She
slow-mode.
looks horrified.
It was so cheesy.
Yes.
She looked feral.
It was slow mo, but it was old slow mo where it was just chopped frames.
Yeah.
And does she growl at them or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then turns around and continues her business.
Yeah.
Not great.
And they find out the theater is closed.
Forever.
The theater is closed. Forever.
Forever.
Ever and ever. And they go to the mayor because they think he can solve this evil problem. And he's like, no, give me 2 days. We'll see how it works out.
They go to because they go to Sunday shop, and he's like, "Oh, soapy."
Yeah, man's just
I think I
casting
haven't-
spells like it's nothing too.
Yeah, even Grandma doesn't do that.
Well, she has
She's Grandma.
she's brand.
Grandma.
And Marnie finds the brooms.
Yes, and I don't.
Amazing looking brooms.
Yeah,
might I add.
I don't see a
Ugly,
Nimbus.
ugly
There are no
stuff.
Nimbus 2000. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Well, no, but they had the Windsweeper 5000 though.
Was that
Way
your
better.
favorite character, Crimson, the broom seller guy?
He was pretty entertaining.
Are you gonna be here for Halloween this year? That'd be pretty good. You could rock that.
I don't have the makeup for it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Hey.
Does anyone want to talk about Luke in this scene?
And Luke is here with all the subtlety and grace of a car crashing through a department store.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
he's
And,
not a great
Should come.
realistic introduction to a character, I would
Yeah.
say.
And something of a big cheese around here. Something he says.
Cheese.
That's what he smells.
Yeah.
Maybe you and I can go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you did all this to ask her out on
No.
a date. Okay.
Yeah.
Old school, man. Something smells. It's the big cheese.
Yeah, got him. Oh, that Luke dude. He's turned into such a wiener.
It's turning into such a wiener.
Great line. Hilarious.
Hilarious.
And we get one of the best looking scenes I've seen in any movie.
Stop lying.
Yeah.
What? Did you call me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
He said it. He said it. I was expecting Sprinks to say it.
Yeah.
I've been subverted.
Thought that was hardwired into Sprinks' code. To say that.
So,
Writer can have it now and that's fine.
I don't have like a T-shirt that says it or anything. Come on, man.
Don't gatekeep people.
get
What-
that
is
language
this-
out of here, Sprinks. I don't want to hear that from you again.
Yeah. Gonna be banned from the stand if you keep that up.
We get the beautiful broom scene, which was the last scene they filmed of this movie, by the way.
And
Oh.
it's not a green screen; it's a blue screen.
Did they use a blue screen back
They
in
used the-
'98?
They used the blue screen. I saw set photos of it. It's a blue
Wow.
screen.
Yeah, blue screens
That's-
were
I think
a
even
thing back
worse
then. Yeah.
Hmm?
I said blue screens were a thing back then, so
Yeah, they're actually better than green screen. Is that true?
they're
that is true.
situational. They're situational. Is what they are.
Yeah, looked bad. I don't know. Anyone that got thoughts on it other than it looked bad?
Look bad, yeah.
I mean,
Come on.
There
Well,
was a blue sky behind him, so that helped a bit.
I have to talk about how magic works because I think this is the only line of dialogue that we get dedicated to it in the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it says magic is
come on.
really very simple. All you have to do is want something and then let yourself have it. And I'm like, I don't understand the rule, but okay, because I think that's what she.
I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory to me.
So, I mean, Marnie asked how magic works, right? And this is Grandma's response.
Yeah. I want the evil vanquish. Boom. Movie's over.
That only works for witches.
What about warlocks?
And warlocks. I don't know. Yeah, terrible magic system as we established. Makes no sense.
Well,
I don't.
it's the classic. It's a classic Disney. Magic.
Yeah. I don't really remember how in depth they go in the later films. in regards
Yeah,
to
I'm not-
magic. It's been a while.
Yeah. I didn't watch this expecting to have to watch all the other movies. just
Why
to
didn't
cover
you
up
do
the-
your homework, Sinister?
Yeah, because I haven't been to school in like 3 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. where I was.
We were at the broom scene.
Mom arrives after the broom
just
scene.
finding it on my paper.
Yeah, why don't you just grease up the handle and shoot me out the door?
Yes, we get Gwen showing up and
She's just
ruining everybody's day.
She had teleportation powers. I'm gonna say.
What do you mean? She took the bus.
How did she know about the bus?
She used to live here
Oh, that's right.
until she ditched all of her family and friends to live with her husband.
Hey. Uncalled for.
All I'm saying is her husband could have lived here.
No, he couldn't have.
What do you mean?
He probably had a heart attack the second he was like, that's what killed him. It was like,
That's what killed him entering HalloweenTown.
yeah, he was like, then he died.
That would explain why she doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, she's like, HalloweenTown killed my husband.
Why didn't you tell me Muggles couldn't get here?
I thought it would be funny.
That's something she would say. Yeah, Marnie gets grounded. Grandma gets scolded at, and we see the I don't know what are they called? The people who control the bus schedule, I guess.
Like the Siamese
Siamese
twins.
twins.
Yeah. They were funny.
These are your favorite characters.
Yeah. I'm more annoyed in this scene that no one thinks to bring up the fact that the world is at stake.
Well, they just
it's
that's
just
what
from one
Aggie's
kooky lady. It's not enough.
Yeah.
No one else has noticed all their friends and family members turning evil and vanishing.
Okay, but the mayor literally also admits to knowing of something about it, even though he's a part of it.
He gives in. Yeah.
He acknowledges that she's right. So there. That's all I have to do to prove my point, is that people do notice something's wrong.
Yeah, but he
in
just
their
needs
eyes.
2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Just needs
And
2
in
days.
those 2
It's fine.
days, he will take over the world.
His motives, even with, like, he wants the real world, the human world, back, because he considers this exile. I don't see the point. Everyone
You
seems
don't
happy
see
here
the
except
point?
him.
Well,
You
until he starts
don't see
casting
the
his
point.
spell, because his spell starts turning everyone evil, apparently, for like 5 minutes. But we'll get there.
Yes, well, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Bus
Anyways,
schedule.
yeah.
Bus is broken down. It'll take a couple hours. And Gwen and the kids go to see the mayor. Which the kids didn't name the mayor. So Gwen gets surprised when she meets him. And we see this. I don't know what they were thinking with this bat puppet. That was next to Calabar on the desk.
I love that. I love that guy.
I had to go back to see if it was actually treated as a creature or if it was just supposed to be a puppet. And it was supposed to be a creature. I'm like, are you serious? That's terrible.
It's weird because he has this puppet that calls him boss, and it alerts him that he has guest, I guess, that showed up.
Mm-hmm.
But then later, there's this secretary pushpin lady who gives him notes. So he has 2?
I think the bat's supposed to be like a familiar or something. I don't think it's like actually like his secretary.
Yeah, that's what I got. Like,
I'm
the
giving-
secretary.
A little bit of credit there, yeah.
Yeah, like the secretary is meant to be doing the paperwork or helping with that, while the bat's just there as more of an alarm.
Reminds me of like Anastasia.
Yeah. Or Fern Gully.
Well, Fern Gully Batty is Solo.
Robin Williams.
Anastasia, I forget the bat's name, but to Rasputin is
The white bat.
yeah, but it's like his henchman.
His henchman, you say?
The actress for Marnie has that bat. So cool.
She
She's
gets to
got a
keep
whole
it?
bunch of props. Yeah, that was one of them.
That's weird because I think at most sets, especially back then, you couldn't keep anything.
Oh, it was low budget. I don't think they cared. I don't think they were going to store any of this in a warehouse somewhere.
I just remember like a bunch of like people talking about like being on projects, and they would ask like, "Hey, can I keep like like a wardrobe piece or something?" And they'd be like, "No, go away.
We need to
no."
archive this.
Do you think? I don't know. Do you think they have an archive at Disney stuff?
Oh, they definitely do.
Did anyone else? Okay, quick question.
Every studio.
Did anyone else get the impression that the mayor's office was just filmed in some school library?
I think that was
Probably
filmed actually at the. They filmed in Oregon. I think that might have been the actual courthouse that they used as the mayor's place. Might be. I don't know. Can go inside.
I don't know enough. I can't see.
You picked
It
this
could be.
movie. Come on.
I didn't look up every facet. I'm sorry.
But you knew that Benny was a robot. Okay.
It was obvious he was a robot. Okay. I was surprised you guys thought he was CG, especially with how the visuals look in this movie.
Because the eyebrows, it was way too fluid.
The Christian lady comes in and gets Calabar out of there. Do you think that message was relevant to anything, or not?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how evil she was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was a really weird character, though. I'll give her that.
Yeah,
even by the standards
she
of
was
this movie.
a character.
Yeah, she did exist. She was in a scene. You are correct.
I don't know. What did you guys think of Calabar and Gwen's interaction here? The creep factor of the rose and everything.
Yeah, that was a little creepy. He definitely showed he had the hots for Mama, and Mama did not have the hots back for him.
He knows he was introduced to the kids before seeing her again, so he knows she has 3 kids, but completely does not have any regard if like the husband's still around or the dad's in the picture or anything.
I think he was
And
just
who
using.
wants a lady with 3
Honestly,
kids? Come on.
I legitimately thought that he was just showing off his magic because he could, and he did like her at some point. So, but it does come off as creepy. So I just assumed he was just showing off because he likes to show off. That's been kind of established in every scene. He does something magical in front of everyone.
Oh, and that was also something he used to do with her. When they were youngins.
Among other things he used to do with her.
Well, he brought up their usual haunts. I'm like, interesting.
Interesting. You're going to say that right in front of her kids? Okay. All right.
That's true. He was talking as if the kids weren't there at all. The kids looked uncomfortable. Rightfully so.
Yeah, wouldn't you be uncomfortable if some guy was hitting on your mom right in front of you?
I had to deal with that in public transportation, so yes.
Yeah.
And we see this awful scene of Luke picking on Grandma and goading her into entering the theater. That was awful.
I don't think it was goading. I don't think that was goading. He was just literally directly asking her to come to the theater. Like he wasn't baiting her.
He riled her up.
He was like, he's more powerful than you ever could be.
Yeah, if he just came up to her and was like, the bad guy's in the theater, he wants me to take you there, do you want to come? I think she'd be like, well, that kind of sounds like a trap. He got her all flustered and making a brash, stupid decision. At least that's how I viewed it.
Obvious trap.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Can you picture I don't know, he's probably like 14 or so here, 14-year-old picking on a grandma like that?
Well, he's a punk, so yes.
Weird. Yeah.
What are you saying? 14-year-olds can't pick on grandmas no more? Okay, I guess America really is truly gone.
But I'm just saying it would look weird.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Marnie, the dramatic one again, shocker. Talking about how she wants to keep her roots, even if her mom wants to lose hers, which is correct. As I said, Gwen is very selfish here. I don't know. Her motives I don't like. I feel like she should have given her kids a choice whether or not to be witches.
Yeah,
it's
it's
kinda
hard.
weird,
It's hard for
but-
me to find a character who's being selfish when the world is at stake to be very endearing. It's just.
I mean, even when the world's not at stake, this is 13 years in the making between them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't understand the logic behind it. Because her whole thing is she wants to be normal. She wants her kids to be normal.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me because like they never really give any like flat out reason why she doesn't want like the kids involved in magic, other than she just wants to be normal. And I guess maybe because she has this weird fixation on like if being normal, because she fell in love with her husband who was a human and everything, and then like she wants her kids to have what she couldn't have, which is like a life without magic. But even so, it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's up to them if they want to have it or not. Because that's not something that they probably want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you had the choice between having powers or not having powers, what would you pick at the end of the day?
I think most people would say powers.
Powers, even if you're not going
Yeah.
to use them.
Yeah.
Have it and not need it, then need it and not have it.
There you go.
Precisely. Like, if I gotta do chores, I would love to use my magic. Still gets done. But it will. We don't
But
get
oh well.
much.
Nobody wins the
Her
argument
only-
in this situation, yeah.
It's like you said. There's not really any reason for her to have this dislike of
Yeah,
magic.
I feel like they could have like had it. I don't know, it would have been better if they had like some sort of thing happen, or some reasoning.
Yeah,
That would've made it
Well,
better.
the only thing is she fell in love with a human.
Yeah,
and that's literally it.
That's one of my complaints I had as well. It's just there needed to be a reason why she is this way. Because I'm fine with her acting this way. I just don't have the justification for her acting this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we see Sophie looking out the window, pointing out that Grandma's with the wiener dude.
Yeah, Grandma's following the wiener dude.
The wiener dude.
How convenient.
My favorite.
I'll go
part.
for just a little when they get inside the theater.
Whoa. Good.
Oh, is it too far?
No,
I could back it up. I'm sorry. Am I out of line?
He went from like scene 1 to like scene 15. Like
That is true.
yeah.
Crimson did skip to, but he's host. I think that's a
Okay,
host
go
power.
ahead.
But I think it's a nice connection that the first monster shown sitting in one of the theater chairs is the very first monster that Marty and Dylan bump into when they get off the bus. It's that
the
pirate.
troll guy or whatever.
the pirate-looking one with the eye patch.
I think it's just because they didn't have that many costumes. Just retarded.
Well, that could be true.
Because
So he was shown, but I guess this pirate guy never was shown in a crazed state because it says, they go mad first or violent and then disappear.
are you saying all pirate skeleton-looking guys all look the same?
Whoa.
Not all of them. Some of them.
Not all. Usually, most of them.
Yeah, behind the scenes, apparently they doubled up a lot on
I could
background
tell.
actors,
Yeah.
changing costumes and stuff.
Well, it's kind of the same thing with like in Mad Max, the original Mad Max. They didn't have enough like actual leather stuff, so only like Mel Gibson got like an actual leather outfit, and everybody else was using like pleather. And you can really tell if you watched it that like it was all just to make up for like all the extras.
Huh.
The constraints of low-budget film.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm curious, and Crimson, you might know this. Besides, actually, no, maybe just for all of them, were all the people in the theater seats actual actors staying still, or were they just the costumes?
Yeah, I believe it was
I guess
just
mannequin.
costumes.
It
'Cause
looked
the lady, yeah, because the
mannequin.
lady who's like evil, yeah, the
Yeah,
lady who's
Harriet
like, yeah,
was freaking hideous as
Yeah.
a mannequin or whatever the heck she was. I wrote that down where Grandma's like, Harriet. So I'm like, that's Harriet? Doesn't look anything like her.
the perfect
But-
cover.
Yeah, that was great. I guess it was kind of a creepy feeling scene, I suppose.
Yeah, that was like
they
probably one of
kinda
the
succeeded
creepiest
in
scenes,
that.
Yeah.
Theater full of frozen people with cobwebs everywhere.
Yeah, how long does it take to develop cobwebs?
Apparently within a day.
I mean, with magic,
Girl.
instantly.
I just like the idea. The bad guy's like, let's do some magic cobwebs.
See, if
to
that were
add
true
some flair."
Spriggs, then Gwen and Grandma also would have gotten cobwebs.
Well, not.
Holes
not-
with cobwebs.
Yeah, I don't think the cobwebs were an after effect of being frozen. Just a decoration piece that were just made.
The weird thing is, like, what was his? What did any of those like frozen things have to do with like? Was it just because they were like snooping around, or
He
like?
said he needed their power for later.
I think he said he was plucking them off, or one by one, and then he was going to release them all at one time.
Huh.
As their true states of
Okay.
what they used to be. Which is weird because half of them
Monsters.
look normal. They didn't freeze in their ugly, scary versions.
Yeah, what do?
Yeah.
Make the movie anyway.
I guess that's kind of true. Why did they have to go grumpy before getting frozen when he can just freeze people?
Because Calabar's warlock powers were of hatred. So it affected them that way. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because the magic
Gwen and
because the magic
Grandma-
system here doesn't make sense. That's why it.
Yeah, there you go. That's easy
Gotcha.
answer.
You can at least try to rationalize it.
I wanna.
Try and fail.
I find it funny. Well, I don't know if the spatial vortex that disguised Caliburn comes through. Does that reminded me of the time vortex from Gallifrey in Doctor Who?
Yeah.
I wonder if it reminds
Yeah,
anyone else of
I'm
that.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and we get the evil figure doing his evil monologue.
Because he's evil.
Yeah, because he's evil.
They aren't statues, they're frozen in time for when I need them.
And when everyone's a statue, no one will be.
I was so confused. I'm like, did you make a museum? Is that what your goal was? I don't understand.
Give me the talisman.
It's weird. He keeps saying talisman, but it's more of like an object.
And it's also amusing that Luke just tries to double down on everything that his boss says.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
terrible.
he's like,
Until he told me to shut up.
Yeah.
Flip, flap, zap. Whatever he's saying.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
But you could just hear the writer going, "I'm hip and cool with kids."
I know what the kids say.
Yeah, they say blip blap zap zap. Wow.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, but I really like how the evil figure looks with the cloak and everything, the wind.
Yeah, and the movement of it, it's very well done.
Yeah, the movement. I think the actor did very well with his voice. I like his yelling because that's all this character does is yell.
I mean, the guy, he was born to play a bad guy. What can we say?
He did have bad guy face.
Yeah, he had bad guy face. He had bad guy personality.
What is this? They keep calling it a shadow, but he looks like a scarecrow.
He does.
I think that's, I don't.
It's because he's covered in black. Okay, that's why he's a shadow.
Oh. Because he's in a big flowing robe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the part where he's on top of town hall, they didn't put a mic on him, so he actually had to yell for the cameras to pick up.
Yeah,
and he lost his voice. He lost his voice by the end of it.
That's a cool fact.
That's a cool fact.
Dedication.
Something in the scene that was weird to me was just how the grandma kept saying never. Never.
Never. Oh, good old Debbie Reynolds.
She like slack her jaw off to the side. Never.
Oh, come on.
Weird.
The Dark Ages will be back. Never.
Never. That's Princess Leia's mom, by the way.
It is.
Yeah.
She died a day after her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sad times.
That's sad.
And we get Gwen and the kids entering now. And
they
Luke
say
pretty much just dips.
Yeah, he's like,
Mom
I gotta get
casts
out of
flowers
here.
on him first, though.
Hmm?
Gwen casts flowers onto him first.
Yes.
Yeah. I said
She tried to
not
vanquish him. And so
No death curse today.
So
Well,
did they grow out of him? Do they stick on him like they're taped
Magic.
on him?
You're
Magic.
overthinking this. Come on.
it's magic. Not to mention
Believe
before
it's magic.
or the Shadow murdered a Minotaur by launching him into the, I don't know, vortex thing.
Oh, we don't
Yeah,
even know
he
what
hit
that
the-
vortex
he-
is or where it goes. We don't know what that thing is.
I'm sure it was supposed to be something, and they just never went into it.
Because, I don't know, it kind of implies that Calbar's from a different, I guess, dimension. At least that's how I kind of read it. I didn't think it was like a vacuum into nothingness.
Well, they're all
It seemed more
from
like
the
a
mortal
portal.
world, aren't they?
Hmm?
They're all from the human world, right? Initially.
Well,
Initially.
yeah.
No.
Again, with the time thing, it's kind of hard to know who's an original and who's a new person.
Because all the creatures in HalloweenTown used to live on Earth. But then the Dark Ages, they hated each other, and then they left, created their own world.
As you would do, yeah.
And then, following next, I have two actual small gripes about this movie. Just
Oh,
weird.
Gripes?
Got any
Yeah,
gripes?
well,
I thought this was a
I guess not. Yeah, well,
Well, yeah, but
first off, his grandma says, nothing can catch a Cromwell, and then the Shadow takes out two of them. That's
it's not a gripe. That's not like a plot. Yeah, of course, though.
nothing can get us. Bam, bam.
I'm like, man, no
Well,
counter
I guess
spells, no protections. All right.
That's
Also,
why I said Grandma was more bark than bite, because she doesn't do anything in this.
later, Calabar is the Shadow and can still do all his powers and whatnot as himself.
I was going to bring that up.
But in this one, or here, with the light, I guess with the form he's in of this scarecrow thing, light affects him. That was
That's
just,
a good point.
it's
I
a
didn't
weird
even
weakness.
think about that.
Later he like makes, clouds and, dark clouds above him to blot out the sun. But then
Well-
he just needs to transform into his human or other self and he's fine. I don't know.
Now that he's got the powers of the Cromwells, he can now overcome his light problems. I have no idea.
It's just weird. I mean, he's wearing a hat as the mayor, but that's not,
I
not
don't
taking
think.
the sun.
I think it's just a plot hole.
Well, I mean, the grandma asked Luke why the figure hasn't shown themselves, and he's saving the people for something. So maybe he's just drawing their energy till he's good enough to present himself.
That's a possibility.
But then again, he wasn't always this evil guy. He was a kid with Gwen and all that, so he didn't always have this light aversion either. So,
It maybe comes with the dark magic thing.
guess more questions that won't
More
get
questions,
answered in the
less
sequel.
answered. Yeah, yeah, we know that for a fact.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yes. So the kids run out once Mom and Graham get frozen, and Sophie's like, "Oh, what, Mom and Grandma?" And mine's like, don't worry, I'm confident in my abilities. I'm like, aren't you sad at all, Marty?
No, because she knows that she's now the savior of HalloweenTown.
Marty is very annoying in this movie.
I
She's so egotistical all the time.
He can do it.
I mean, even when her and Sophie get the talisman to work, she's like, I did it. But we did it. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Your sister's better than you in every way,
yeah.
Marty. I'm sorry. You just deal with it.
Yeah, so far, other than like Marnie just being like, I've had deja vu.
Yeah, that
She
went
has
nowhere.
shown no power.
Oh God. Well, they decide to get the ingredients for Witch's Brew,
Yeah.
and we start with werewolf hair.
Yeah, which seems like that would be a later on thing, but you know, whatever.
I guess you don't need a full moon to be a werewolf in HalloweenTown.
No.
I
Mortal
think
see, mortal do.
out of the three ones to get, this is the most understandable to come across. Because the other
they
two,
just walk into a salon.
the last one was real like luck and coincidence.
I think both the last two.
Both the last two are very
Yeah.
coincidence filled, but this was the
Yeah.
most like more normal one.
Where are we gonna find hair? At a barber shop. Let's see if there's a werewolf there.
Got a ya baby, and then I immediately thought of Austin Powers.
Baby.
He probably had one of the best makeup jobs. I think.
It's pretty good.
That was a real flamethrower hairdryer.
You don't want that.
That was
Thank
not
you to Marnie.
CG. Yeah, that was real flamethrower.
Yeah, it looked real enough.
Yeah. She said in an interview it was real and it got really hot in her hands. I would imagine so.
I would imagine it get really hot.
That's something they would not do today. Is give
No.
a kid a flamethrower.
That's real dangerous. Yikes.
Yeah. But that's why it looked so real. I'm like, this looks real. I looked it up and it was. So good on them
Man,
for the practical effects.
I guess it's a good question. Besides the blue screening for, I guess, the bus and the broom, was there actually any CGI in this movie?
I mean, there was the portal. There was him teleporting on Town Hall. His freezing powers. That was CG stuff.
Okay.
But they definitely leaned towards practical when they could, which is something they don't do anymore today. Which is unfortunate.
Well, because you have to pay people to do it, so.
Well, you gotta pay people to do CG.
I know, but you can pay them less and then feel like they're getting paid the same amount.
Now we got the Sweat of a Ghost, which is where they introduce there's werewolves and dog people.
Yeah, dog and cat people doing yoga or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't slobber. It was amusing and very weird looking. I don't know if the dogs weirded guys out. Well, I'll pose this question to you guys. If you guys had to find Ghost Sweat, where would you guys have gone? Was Jim your first
Graveyard.
thought?
Yeah, Jim.
I would have gone to, well, being HalloweenTown, I would probably gone to Graveyard first, then I would probably go to the gym. Because it is very, very otherworldly, so I think eventually I would have gone to the gym, but, and I'm assuming time passed, but they just pretty much cut to them arriving at the gym.
I think I would have gone to the graveyard or cemetery to find more ghosts to at least talk to, rather than trying to find one in the gym somewhere.
Is there a
there we go.
cemetery? Do people die in HalloweenTown? Or are they
question.
born skeletons and ghosts?
They're born dead.
They do say, the mortal world, which makes me think that anyone in HalloweenTown isn't mortal.
more questions.
So I don't know. No, we
Yeah.
never saw anyone really die. The Minotaur, I guess, that got launched in the vortex, he disappeared.
Yeah. He probably died,
Calabar,
though.
I guess, disintegrated or something.
Yeah, he just disappeared as well.
Well, it's a Disney movie. They're not gonna die. They're gonna disappear. They're gonna get
Poof.
It's a Disney
disintegrated or
movie.
something,
Why didn't the bad guy get pushed off a cliff or anything?
That is true. Disney can go quite dark with killing off its villains.
They don't get pushed off cliffs. Yes, the ghost scene. It was amusing. I enjoyed it.
It was funny. I will grant it that. I mean, it's like the ghost could just look off to the left to see Marnie messing with the pump. And also the worker just suddenly vanished.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be stared at while you're in your sweatbox.
Yeah, but the
Creepy.
worker would still be in the room.
He's got other
Maybe
ghosts to
it was
deal
a
with.
break. It was his break time.
Why do you think the ghost needed a hat?
Because he likes
So
hats.
because he got rained on.
Okay, it was just weird to me seeing this brightly colored.
That sounds like a beginning of a riddle. Why did the ghost need to wear a hat?
I mean, could be. It looked off.
I don't know. It fit the
shows that
feeling of it,
that ghosts can interact with physical objects,
I'm sure he had a towel
And
on before.
produce physical attributes such as sweat. So
Which
can
was also
you get ghost pee?
maybe. It was weird
Hold
that
it your
for
hands.
the werewolf, they cut off a whole ponytail
really
off
know.
him.
Yeah, they don't know how much they need. To be fair,
But the
They
ghost
leave
got
them.
one drop of sweat.
Yeah,
that was enough.
I found that interesting. But if you go through all this trouble, I think you'd go for more than that. But then again, I don't know. The ghost probably wouldn't let them.
Attendant,
Could have done something.
attendant.
And then he turns into a different actor.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
pulls out his big boxers. Yeah.
Dylan's doing a great job throwing facts out there.
Yeah. There was
Yeah,
they find a very convenient potion-sized bottle to get the sweat.
yeah.
That's not convenient. The grandma is a witch. I'm sure they could get that at the house or something.
They pull it off of a water bottle tank that's in the room.
Oh, then disregard what I just said.
Yes.
They're gonna find some means to get it.
I don't deny that they can. I don't deny if they're gonna find one, it would definitely
They
be in this
could've,
town.
they just didn't,
but
yeah.
that was just lazy.
They were method acting. Whatever.
Yeah. And this is also Sophie being culturally insensitive towards ghosts.
Ooh, really funny, kid. Yeah, real funny.
Yeah, applying real world parallels of today does not make this funny. It just makes it. It just ages it. So don't.
Also,
You're
I'll
saying
say
you
it was
can't-
funny.
You shouldn't. It was. The ghost was probably the funniest guy.
Well, there's a lot of funny little side characters. I like Benny and the bus guys.
The Jets.
Funny characters.
Thank you.
And then the Tooth
the Tooth
Fairy was
Fairy.
the third one.
Very lucky that they happen to have a vampire during the day, getting their
Needed
tooth
a
pulled.
fang. Yeah, fang removed.
Well, it seems vampires in this one don't worry about sunlight
But Calabar does.
because
I
the
mean,
window's
that's
pretty
all
much
we-
open.
all we can establish here. When I
Um,
guess in the show Angel, if you go into a different dimension as a vampire, you aren't affected by the sunlight of that dimension.
Spoilers for
Oh,
me.
gotcha. Okay. Okay, so Angel and Buffy
Why
are in the
did
same
you-
universe as Halloween
I
Town.
didn't say what vampire. Okay. Anyways,
I like the little detail that after the tooth is pulled, they blacked out her tooth.
Elf
yes,
was
there.
horribly done.
Yep.
I wrote that
Yeah.
down. That is something that definitely could have implemented some CG on. Just putting
No,
a black
it's so
spot
easy.
there.
Just black out the tooth.
That is pretty easy, all things considered.
No.
CG. That's something I can do with keyframing.
Yeah, why don't you watch your mouth then?
You know what? Yeah, Crimson, you go make yourself a HalloweenTown movie.
Yeah, make
Oh,
shot for
I went
shot
from
remake of
blocking
HalloweenTown.
a tooth with black to making a whole movie. What a jump! Ugh.
Ooh.
Yes,
somebody getting jumped on today.
They get the tooth. Mission success. Yippee! And we get Benny. We get Benny. Nice guy Benny over here, offering them a ride to Grandma's house.
To Grandma's house we go.
We get Sophie again being the protagonist of this, saving the day.
Don't go him. He's got the bad in him.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if... I apologize if one of you has already brought this up in the past, but beforehand, when Marnie and Dylan were gonna get onto the bus, Marnie thought she could see the future, maybe, with like the deja vu thing, but that's kind of gone to Sophie, because Sophie can do it.
Well, it's not necessarily seeing the future. It's just
not seeing the future, but knowing something ahead of time.
I suppose. I don't know. Sophie's just always been hyper aware and really in tune with her powers.
Whereas Marnie's just been kind of a real...
Marnie didn't really use powers in this, except for them holding hands at the end with their chant. Poor Marnie. Even Dylan had visible signs of having magic.
Yeah, that's a real big middle finger there, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marnie's got the short end of the shit stick, huh?
Yeah, and we get Benny. He's not so nice now. He does have the evil with him, and he tries to drag in the kids into his cab.
Would you be like terrified as hell if a skeleton just drove up and just tried to pull you into a cab?
Especially if it was rubber. Yeah.
Get it here. Get here, you freaking kids.
And that is why we all own dogs.
Rise up, freaking kids.
Yeah, then Sophie saves the day. Sicking the dog on him.
More protect card.
Dog.
He drives away. Goodbye, Benny. I'll see you at the end.
Says, yes, the dog.
We get the kid back at Grandma's house trying to make the witch's brew.
Yeah.
And
successful.
Marnie fails at being a witch once again by not remembering simple spells. And Dylan makes sure to tell her that.
Yeah.
He's a good brother. Don't worry, Sophie remembers.
Aqua, okay?
Sophie remembers because she made a song where her song is just saying the potion or the spell.
Hey, it's more than Marnie did. Come on.
It's true.
I couldn't understand what she was saying.
Yeah.
It was like frickin' Ash when he's reciting like the incantation in Army of Darkness, and he's like,
yeah,
just makes it rhyme.
Trying to remember what he said in that.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
But yes, music. The spell works. Good on them. Marnie takes credit as she does.
After they decide teamwork is after they decide teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
So she realizes that Sophie could blow her head off and decides not to.
She totally could. Well, we've seen. Why not? So they go to put the torch or whatever the what was it, talisman? What was it called? Yeah, talisman.
The talisman. It's not a talisman.
Hey, yeah, they go to put it in the pumpkin. Oh, I forgot to say that they figured out that they need to put.
Yeah, no, right in that scene, yeah, they're like,
because mortal see, mortal do.
Yeah, mortal see, mortal. What would happen? What do we do when it's dark on Halloween? We light up the pumpkins.
Precisely. And Marnie grabs Grandma's cloak off the rack and leaves.
She's like, I need to be a witch.
A good thing
I
she
need to
grabbed that
give this
cloak.
to Luke later.
Yeah, because it comes in handy. Maybe
Yeah,
that
'cause
was
Luke's all
her deja vu future sight right there. She's like,
Yeah,
I need this.
maybe. Even though she doesn't seem to like understand what's going on. Why Luke's?
Yeah, but let's just
But-
do it for the writer's sake.
Yeah, fine. Let's throw them a bone.
Yeah.
One of Benny's bones.
Nice one, Benny. Yeah, they're about to put it in the pumpkin, and Luke shows up and says, "It's a trap." Which actually no, they first go to the theater where the Calamar wasn't there.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Well, he was preparing to make his big appearance.
That was where they
Yeah, but
figured
the
out where
portal was
the
still
pumpkin.
open. Or whatever that.
Yeah, that's where they figured out where
vortex
the
was.
pumpkin. It was supposed to be the pumpkin there.
Yeah.
They were trying to resuscitate the grandmas, and they weren't having it.
And then the
Don't
pumpkin
worry,
looks like
she
it's
still has
almost
a
on
heart.
fire.
It does.
Except,
You,
well,
you-
kind of. I don't know what in morning dew
smoking.
or something. Yeah, there's like mist coming off of it in the sunlight.
Because it's evil.
Oh. Yeah, alright, Luke says it's a trap. Calabar teleports onto the town hall and does his little evil speech.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's get the Earth back.
yeah, I already problem. You could just cross over the world regularly. So if you hate this world so much, why don't you just fucking leave?
Because he wants
he
to do
needs
this
to-
for the group. Kind of like how Gwen takes it upon herself to take away her kid's case.
Oh, whoa!
There's your parallel.
Yeah.
That's why they should have been together, because they pushed their own wants onto others.
Fuck yeah! Yeah.
I'm sure that
There's
was the
that.
writer's intentions.
There's that parallel theme for you. Boom. Go on.
Yes. Evil speech where we've been exiled. Let's get the moral realm back.
And they're all like,
Because
yeah,
of
yeah,
reasons.
sounds good. Yeah.
And then everyone just
sounds
goes along with
great.
it. Then it's like, okay.
I think it's
Fuck you,
weird.
yeah.
one of the civilians of HalloweenTown is like a Civil War soldier
Yeah.
compared to all these other monsters and whatnot.
They ran out of props.
Yeah. Tough.
And what's up, Jack?
And we get Luke talking to Marnie saying he screwed up. Wants to
screwed
fix
up.
his mistake. He
I
did
wanna
all
fix my
this
mistake.
because he didn't want to be ugly anymore.
I did all this because I didn't want to be ugly anymore.
And what did I get? I couldn't even get you out on a date. So
No.
romantic.
That's not. Does that happen at scene? Is that later?
That's later.
That's later.
You're right. That's later. I jumped ahead.
You skipped all the climax, man.
Yeah. It's
Well,
over.
I
can't go back there now.
combined them talking together in two different scenes. All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's
Crimson's
fine.
only seen this movie once, okay? Give him a
Once
break.
this year.
Let's see it again. Halloween.
Okay, I was trying to help you out there. But okay.
Yes. So Luke takes the cloak.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, did I miss another
Somebody's
thing?
in a cloak.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Calabar sees them.
Calabar sees Grandma's cloak.
Yeah.
And is like, "Give me the talisman."
Give
Says-
me the
Says stop nicely. And then he demands it.
Yeah. Stop!
How
Get back
dare you
here.
disregard what I said? Freeze power. Freeze power. And then
Freeze
Luke-
power.
Luke rolls around on the ground and says something. I don't. What do you think?
Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt.
Fooled you, and then he doesn't really freeze. He's like, eh. I'm done here, Calvert.
Fools.
And-
Also, no one's running away and standing in the crowd
No.
watching, which makes me believe most of the people around here are like, "Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good
No, they're
idea.
just-
I want to hear this guy out."
They're just
Remember,
NPCs.
They're 100%
great idea.
NPCs. I'm not gonna. The town doesn't have a character. They're just doing what
They're
the.
running away, but they're also not helping him.
I think they're just That's pretty much it.
Well, what are they gonna do? They're not all witches and wizards.
They're
My
just listening to his story, and they're like, "Okay, maybe I'm with this guy."
Hey, that
Story
makes
time.
sense.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I hate Jerry Springer.
It's a common theme.
And Calvert turns and sees Marnie approaching the pumpkin to put in the talisman.
Yeah, and she's just
No!
like with her Skechers on.
Yeah, freeze power, freeze power. And she kind of
and
just closes her eyes and acts dead instead of frozen like she's supposed to
yeah, and then Dylan's all like, "Well, I guess the plan failed."
be. That's true. It's like, well, it's over. All right.
What are we supposed to do now?
So, something that's kind of revealed here is when the
Come on now.
talisman goes into the pumpkin, the light of it affects the vortex for the theater, which shows that the vortex and the pumpkin were connected in some way. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a way for Calabar from the mayor's office to get to the theater, if that's how he like traveled, because he came out of the vortex when we first see him as the
Probably
shadow.
don't
Well,
think
with
too much about the
talisman-
vortex.
Removes evil, and the portal was evil, so it's just covered of it.
Oh, okay.
no, that's
At least that
legitimately
was my
the
takeaway.
that's legitimately the explanation they give. So
And then this is when Calvar does his little speech. The power of evil is stronger than the power of good. Join me.
and I wrote in my notes immediately. I'm like, this is the point where I'm just going to embrace the cringe because you know what? I just smirked at that.
Oh, come
Hey,
on.
he sells it.
Al. He does sell it.
Like I said, I smirked at it, so I embraced the cringe.
Well, yeah, blame the dialogue, not the fabulous actor giving it his all.
Because that's a good time to bring it up. Who do you think was the best actor in this?
Oh,
Calabar.
definitely that guy.
Calabar.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably between Calvar and the mom.
yeah. Like I love Debbie Reynolds, but half the time she's just doing like different facial stuff, and then just saying like the most blasé.
She
Like,
was not very good in this,
no.
unfortunately.
Also, aren't there cops in this world? Like, aren't
Yeah,
there
they're
some monsters
constables,
in cop uniforms?
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a
So,
body.
unless they're
Bobby.
with Calabar of what he's saying,
Well,
after
he's the mayor.
I mean, yeah, but he's freezing
told Ray
children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious why the cops aren't.
Remember the whole town.
Thing.
The whole town is evil for right now. That's all you have to.
Yeah.
Because they all agreed with him.
I mean, the president, like, declares war on places, even if we don't want to go to war with him. So, I mean, a mayor.
Power of the mayor. Controls the caps.
Caps. Even the undercover caps.
And we see Marnie having this little, I guess, montage.
Yeah,
Voice
but I'm
montage.
nothing. I'm normal. I have no
I'm not,
no problem.
I'm not
Just-
special.
Just believe. If you want something,
Okay.
get it. Blah, blah, blah. All of the
Marnie.
motivational speeches she
Marnie,
need, plus
you
some
dumb
negatives.
shit. Said the mom.
If only. She drops the talisman, and the pumpkin gets all happy.
And
And
then they
then
reuse the same shot of her falling asleep again.
Same shot.
Yes.
And then suddenly the whole town erupts into cheers, and they're all good again.
Yeah, they're all like,
they got their cue.
"Hey!"
There's people dancing in the background.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
suddenly,
so, like,
everybody was
little
happy, like they weren't just about to go destroy another world. I'm like, okay, yeah, makes sense, I guess.
And Gwen and Aggie wake up at the theater.
And they're all like,
why did I write down?
Everyone wakes up at the
"What
theater.
did you write down?"
Well, yeah, but that in particular. They get up, leave, go to the pumpkin because Grandma's like, the kids! And they go. They pulled a Wanda Maximoff on us. And then
That's an insult to
Calamar's
HalloweenTown.
like, I'm not done here. And just force pulls the torch out of the pumpkin.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I was a little annoyed because entire family of witches, and they just let him do that.
They let
An
him do
entire
it.
town of witches. These aren't the Cromwells aren't the only witches here.
Yeah, I know, which just makes it even worse.
It also makes you wonder why he didn't do that in the first place instead of freezing her, just force pulling it out of her hands.
Ah,
He
well.
didn't have the strength.
Yeah, he's still weak.
Yeah, him getting depowered had more strength than him having full power. That's right. I didn't consider that.
Did you ever consider it?
Yeah, and he has this whole speech about how Gwen could have been his queen and how
could have
pathetic
been
he
together.
was. Oh, terrible.
Oh,
Such a wonderful villain
Oh.
we have here.
Yeah.
he's better than most.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pick that hill to die on. I'm okay.
He's better than most of the Marvel ones recently.
Well, most of the Marvel's villains are heroes, so
I guess he'd say he's more entertaining.
that's true. I'll admit that. Yeah,
I
kinda-
just feel like he's giving. He's putting in effort.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm gonna
mean,
say.
Springs.
He's more of a character than the bad guys in Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a low bar, though. Come on.
Oh, the Djinns?
be real here.
Yes,
The
the
Jeans?
Jins.
I was gonna say, Spring. Since you've seen Thor: Love and Thunder, who puts more effort in, Christian Bale into Gore or this guy into Calabar?
This guy lost his voice.
Darn.
Because
Okay,
I'm leaning Calabar, to be honest with you.
I think I'll go even. I'm gonna go even because I think the dark evil side of Calabar is equal to the serious parts of Gore in Love and Thunder, but the crazy zany parts of Gore and then there's normal mayor guy in this one. I think it balances them out, which I don't think
worry,
is
everyone.
good for Gore.
No, it's
Don't
not
worry, everybody.
good.
Gore will return when we cover Thor: Love and Thunder.
No, please
But I
no.
think they're on
Yeah,
par.
we will. It's got to happen now. You've brought it
At
up.
one point, it might be a thing.
Take out the might and just say it will happen because it's already been brought up. It's happening. It's happening right now. This is actually Thor: Love and Thunder.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so what's
continue.
next in Halloweentown, Crimson?
Oh,
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that. Now,
The
Aggie
movie's over.
starts chanting for I don't know what the chant really does.
Well, what
But
does
she
he?
a
starts
little,
chanting.
She
A little
starts shaking
talisman for
a chicken
sleeve?
foot.
Oh, it's a chicken. Okay.
No, it's like a little rattle, like a little baby rattle with
I
a
know.
chicken foot.
I have no idea what it was. It was just some metal object. But she was shaking and chanting, and then Gwen
Doom
steps
on
in
you.
and joins in.
Doom on you.
And then they need more power, so the whole family does it. And Coward's, guys, think you stand a chance against me? And I was like, maybe not as just one, but with grandma, mom, brother, sis, me, all this stuff. I think so.
I just want to thank all the NPC bystanders for just allowing whatever is happening to happen. Like they're not
Hey,
going to
hey,
do
they
anything. They're
got
not feeling
no-
any particular
listen.
way.
They got no
There's-
beef in this. Come on.
There was the
I mean,
Remind me your
honestly,
name.
what's the downside to this for the general public of how
who was the other witch that the grandma Harriet?
Yeah.
Harriet ran by as soon as the Cromwells all met up at the pumpkin. So Harry just stood by and watched all this, being a witch herself.
And I
Was
could
she established to be a witch?
I think so.
even
Beginning
if she wasn't established to be a witch, there are other witches in the crowd. You can tell with the pointy hats.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm just thinking, why only the 5 of them? I think other witches from the crowd could have gotten together and, all linked up to be more powerful. But they still wild because I think they all just agreed. He's the mayor.
Yeah, and Dylan gets powers.
Yeah.
Irony is a bitch, kid. Welcome to the family. Now go kick evil's ass.
No, it's just electricity.
I read this thing about Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
I don't know how that applies, Dylan, but nice
dude,
try.
that kid is not gonna get a date for a long time. Deluded.
I feel like that might have been a plot point in one of the other ones.
Yeah, it's in High, HalloweenTown High. He's like, he meets a girl he likes, then he finds out she's a troll, and then she gets really upset that he called her a troll.
That's right.
Yeah. You're a dirty troll.
Oh, she actually looks like a troll doll.
She's got a big nose, yeah, and the purple hair or whatever, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a good look, yeah.
Then Calabar turns into negative light.
Yeah,
Vanishes.
dies.
Nega-light,
presumably.
yeah.
And
So
then the
I
town
don't know-
erupts into rapturous cheers once again.
Yeah, I don't know what they were chanting. It wasn't the same chant
It was a spell.
to light up the talisman, right?
No, it wasn't.
No, it was not the same.
But it had some correlation with it because it lit up.
Oh, they were just humming.
Oh, at some point, yeah, they do the hum.
Mm.
Or humming as a group, which
The
was
Cromwell hum.
wow, the powerful spell, the Cromwell hum.
That's like
Maybe
the
the
Wishy Finger
Cromwells are descended from bards.
Possibly.
Got a point.
You're onto something there.
You're onto something. I won't tell you what, but you're onto something.
And we get the line, "Hey, chocolate bar."
Wow.
Funny.
Yeah,
Very
it was so funny I
appropriate
forgot
here,
to laugh. Yeah.
since it's the end of the world and all, or
Mhm.
for the mortal world, but
Yeah.
funny line. Well, is it even the end of the mortal world?
They were gonna go.
Never mind. He's going to turn them evil. I keep forgetting that he's going to turn them evil.
He was
Yeah.
going to turn
Keep
them evil
forgetting
and
a main
send them
plot
out.
point of this, yeah.
The big army.
Yeah,
You couldn't just put one in at a time.
yeah.
They would have failed.
Because I was like, oh, if he's just going to open up HalloweenTown, then what's the problem? But I keep forgetting he's going to turn everyone bad first. So, it really is the end of the world.
Into the mortal world.
As we know it.
It's the
As we
end
know
of the
it.
world as we know it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel fine. See.
I can kind of watch Mr. I can't do it. Fuck it. I don't remember that song enough. I used to know that.
Calabar dies. Grandma takes the torch, puts it in the pumpkin. It lights up, and it's all happy.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Marnie apologizes to her mom for not taking her warning seriously, and at this point, I just hit my head against the desk.
Didn't you get her character development? Why are you hitting your head on the table?
Because her mom didn't warn her. She just omitted information. That's what I don't like about it. She didn't warn her about anything. She gave her no information, so there was no warnings for her to even say that line.
It's
Wow.
Didn't even want to get picked up on the microphone. Yeah.
I mean, what is the counter? I mean, like, omission is protection, right? That's the warning. I can't help it. I can't do it.
I agree there is supposed to be an arc here, but the line of dialogue does not indicate anything about the arc.
Crimson. I think you should leave now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he did.
All right. Wow.
All right. Okay.
And I return. Bit over.
Oh, just like Calabar.
Yeah. We're doing
Wait,
the second
Calabar's
movie now.
returning? What?
Calabar will return in HalloweenTown 2 Return of Calabar.
The HalloweenTown cinematic universe.
Dude, that's what I want.
Thanks.
I'm sick and tired of the MCU. I want the HTCU.
Let's see what we get. We get Marnie and Luke, and this is when the whole get together bit is going on.
Ugly.
Yeah, he's an ugly looking dude. Poor guy.
He was way uglier than I remember him being. I thought his nose just got bigger originally, but no, like full on like troll.
He was ugly enough to go evil to fix it.
Fair enough.
He was lulled with the false promises of...
Lord.
Yes, and he's like, even when I looked attractive, I couldn't even get a date with you. It's like, you being a hero right now was good enough, and kiss. Mwah.
On his cheek.
Yes.
I like.
Wow. Please.
I like. It's like. I know he meant it like, and I couldn't even get a date with you with how attractive I was, but I thought it sounded like, and I couldn't even get a date with you, not attractive at all. I know
Me as a 10 couldn't even get a 3 like you.
Yeah, they make him look better in like HalloweenTown too. He doesn't look quite as fugly.
I mean, in this, his like good-looking version is just an average-looking guy.
He looks like Peter Pan from the remake that they did live action.
A little bit, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
didn't make the connection, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and he's like, "You want to hook up when you come back here again?" She's like, "Sure."
You wanna? No, I'm not gonna.
Probably for the better.
Yeah.
One less thing to
and
censor.
No.
Gwen brings up that Grandma can stay at the house all year, and it's a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's relatively happy.
I don't know what. I'm confused why the grandma is kind of happy because she kind of loves it here.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I guess I'll give up all my my power and my ability and my friends.
I know. Gwen just did the same thing that Grandma did in the beginning.
Yeah.
Grandma's like, "Hey, Gwen, can you come move to HalloweenTown with your family?" But now Gwen's like, "Hey, Grandma, you want to come live with me where you have no connections to anybody here except us?"
She said, "Yeah."
She said, "Yeah." So
No,
that's short end of the stick on this.
I will handle your training.
Yes, Gwen will now train
Yes.
Marty.
The woman who can't profitably cast a vanquishing curse is going now to handle her training.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Can sense her own children leaving the house.
Can you sense your own children leaving the house, Crimson?
I have alarm systems
no.
for that.
But I'm not a warlock.
You also have no kids. That would have been a better comeback.
Silence speaks for
Hushed crowd.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Lost his kids in a miscarriage. Yeah. Don't laugh at that. That's awful.
Crimson's backstory just got really dark.
Yeah.
And they take the bus and leave. Movie over.
Movie over. Drops the mic. Picks up glass of milk. Drinks it. Yeah.
Slam it on the floor.
Slams it on the ground. It breaks. I walk on it. Cuts up my feet.
I chase Doctor Strange and America shovels down a hallway instead of flying.
Yeah. I go to the doctor. It's infected. Have to lose the foot.
All right. Well, that little story's over. Now we can go into general summaries. I don't want to do general summaries. We're doing ratings now. All right.
We'll do ratings. We
Ratings
could do ratings and
live.
we could do ratings with our general summaries.
Feel
I'm saying
free.
it's to
No,
choose.
he doesn't want to hear what you want to summarize.
And then,
Usually our ratings cover our opinions through summary, anyways. So,
yeah.
Ryder,
All
you're
right.
up first.
I got about 10 minutes into this movie and realizes I need alcohol to enjoy the movie because I was just suffering in the first 10 minutes. I thought the dialogue was very cheesy and very, very late 90s, straight to television kind of movie script, and it was annoying me. So I went to go pour myself some alcohol, took a 5-minute break, came back, and then rewatched the first 10 minutes, and I now understanding what I was in for. I think I enjoyed it a lot more after the initial test run of it, I suppose. So I guess I'll start with my subjective. There was a point in this film where I was I just kind of turned my writer's brain off as much as I could in order to just have fun with it because I knew that it was not really trying to be a serious film. So I subjectively I think I am going to give this a 7. I think it's fair for my experience of it. I didn't like it at first, and then I just kind of once I had some alcohol and I just kind of settled in. I think I enjoyed it a lot more. Objectively, as we've discussed, it's got some problems. This film. There's there's inconsistencies with how the magic system works. There's inconsistencies with how the I guess with the characters, and there's not enough given to us to understand their motivations and why they are the way they are. Overall, I do think the story still has some charm to it. So it's not like I felt like there was still some point to it at the end. Like the character work isn't horrible. It's just very, very one-dimensional. The world building is crap. And that's just gonna that pretty much summarizes what I think of the world building, which is a shame because I do think the concept behind this is very cool. And I think the the characters are fine. So objectively, I've given it a 4.5 out of 10.
All right. Well, I shall go next, and I'll say right out the gate. Once again, Ryder, we are very close.
Oh boy.
I will start with my objective, where I think it only really has 2 things going for it in a positive manner in regards to objectivity, and that's the characters being consistent, I think. I think they're usually consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know how to quantify it, but I guess just like the feeling of the world. It had a good vibe.
Yeah, it was good concept. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like you said, the world building was not good. The visuals were not good. I guess another plus is the use of practical effects was good. Unlike Sinister and Ryder, it seems I like Benny's animatronic. So,
it's not like dislike it. I just thought it was odd.
Yeah, I like it. It's just like because of the nature of it, it's kind of like that uncanny valley-esque thing where it's a little off-putting. But I don't dislike it. It's just a little off-putting.
Okay. Then I guess my lack of off-putted-ish, if that's not a word.
You were not off-put by is what you should have said.
And I think the makeup was generally pretty good, even though there was definitely moments where you're like, oh, that's just a mask. I think it fit the look of everything else in this world. For magic was doo-doo. They could literally do anything if they can just spawn life, like turning a lock into a frog or turning chicken wings into real chickens or living chickens. So I gave it a 4, which was pretty close. And for my subjective scale, it is probably affected by my childhood a little bit, but it's quite enjoyable. I like Dylan's lines, I suppose. Marty's still annoying, but overall, it's an enjoyable film. So 7 as well. So what I got out of it?
Now you were kidding.
Sinister. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, past that point. Yeah, this is definitely like, because we had, because Crimson basically kind of picked this mainly because Ryder had never seen it, and I was a little disheartened when he didn't like it so much, but then I kind of realized that, like, yeah, this is kind of a movie that pretty much you kind of have to see when you're younger to kind of have more of, I guess, like, an attachment to. But I think it was better that he didn't, because it kind of he was able to point out, I think, more stuff that probably most of us would have been a little bit more blinded by nostalgia and bias and that. So,
and in the end, I still enjoyed it. So,
yeah, it's true. I know. I was just like, yeah, like I said, he still liked it. He liked it more than he thought he was. I'll put it that way. But yeah, so I definitely have a lot of nostalgia for this because I saw it when I was a kid. But I do think, like, when I was rewatching it, I realized I didn't remember like 50% of it from the last time I saw it. Probably I think I pretty much only remembered like the middle to the end, maybe around there, roundabouts there. So, and yeah, I was definitely kind of a little. There was definitely some bad moments that didn't age very well, and obviously for a made-for-TV movie, it's just going to happen, kind of unavoidable. But gotta still count it in. So I think I'm going to go, even though with nostalgia bias and some more of the objectivity of some of the stuff not really making sense, it's world building and magic wise and plot holes. I think I'm going to go with a 5 because I would definitely watch it again, just because I think it works very well as a kids Halloween kind of movie, and that's what they were going for. So
yeah, I actually think I would absolutely show this to a couple of kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a good little gateway. Springs.
There are some benefits to being the last person to go when rating something. And on the other hand, there are some instances where it's quite anxious and a bit stressful to be going last. Mostly because of my ratings for this round, which I know will be consequential and probably being brought up in the recap.
But don't worry, we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up as often as we bring up Lightyear.
I usually get picked on because of my feelings towards things and how I rate things. As if any of you listen to the recap on Lightyear, or season 1 recap about Lightyear. So I'll start with subjective. This is a movie, as I said, that was on Disney Channel that I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to watch. Like, I didn't own it on DVD or have access through a streaming service to watch it when I was younger, so it didn't really stick to me as other films did as I grew up, as kind of more traditional to watch every year. But I knew of it, so it's a fine story. It's very vibrant. It's very kid-based. So overall enjoyment-wise, I'm giving it subjectively a 6.5. I think it's a fine little Halloween movie. Objectively, I will say my objective scale was lowered by 1.5. and then I raised it a half. Overall, throughout this discussion, it was lowered 1 point. I think the story was fine. It stuck. I think I agree with Crimson that all characters were consistent to what they were. I think the costume department of what they had available was good, even though some of them are unidentified monsters, but they just still look different. At my age now, I find it funny that some of the monsters are a Civil War soldier and a milkman. I think the little jokes here and there, like the microwave with bubble bubble toil and trouble, or the lines Dylan said, were pretty funny.
Cleveland.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
No.
I like the little history, and I'm not one for history, but I do like the little history that they connect to with like Merlin and the Dark Ages and how HalloweenTown and Moorworld work.
Arthurian legend, yeah.
I quite like Benny. Benny's my favorite character. I like the animatronics for Benny. I like all the practical effects over CGI because the CGI didn't look the greatest. So I'm glad they stuck with more practical or just didn't use instances of CGI and stuck with makeup for some things. I think the music was cool. It wasn't the same thing. It in regards, this movie did remind me of a lot of things, a lot of connections. One was like Zootopia for the story of turning things evil and then disappearing, which kind of happens in that movie. And it also slightly reminded me of Gremlins, of just like this town and bad things are happening around the town. More important people are like disappearing or just leaving. So it reminded me of that in regards of just familiarity between the two. But something this did that Gremlins doesn't is, in Gremlins they keep using the same song over and over pretty much for every scene. This one had maybe like 3 or 4 different songs that were playing throughout the movie, which I think was nice to give more of a feeling of the tone of what was going on. There was like that evil theme and then the happy main theme, and then just some background music. I think the camera works fine. They didn't do a lot of long tracking shots of discussions like some older Disney movies did. Old Disney Channel movies did. Some parts of the close-ups were really weird. The early on one with Marnie was weird to me. They kind of redid it again when all the Cromwells were outside the pumpkin. They start on Marnie and like pan over to Grandma and back to like Dylan. And I think they didn't want to do different shots, so they just moved it with what worked, which made some people look fine and some way too close. So some of the camera work was a bit odd, but I think kind of fitting with the practical effect as well. They didn't really have sets. They had just normal houses and how they could get the crew in there, which kind of gives it a little more realism feel to it, I think. And also, I guess that regards to lighting, because it was a lot of natural lighting. I didn't really see instances of artificial lighting other than the big flashes of like green on the bus, or when the shadow of Calabar was waving in the wind and whatnot. So, tallying all that together, and what you three have stated about the magic use and the things that were shown, not shown, because one thought that popped in my head was when they were all getting the components for the talisman of the werewolf hair and the ghost sweat and a vampire tooth, why didn't Calabar just go to the grandma's house and just steal the talisman, or send Luke to go raid and find it because no one was there and the grandma and mom were frozen? That was just one thought in my head, but like things like that I thought of, which ultimately dropped at one point. And I know I'm rambling a little, but overall, objectively, my final is 7.5.
You originally had it 8.5?
I did.
Wow. Yeah, no, this is going to we brought up a Lightyear. You called it. So,
all right. Well,
I didn't see many things bad with this movie.
Okay, well, we got our ratings done. We might have found some insight in some of us here.
Well, we found our teaser for the next recap, so we did.
Darn, I already had one for spring. So I don't have another one.
Yay! More, because it always seems to be questions for me.
You're always the weirdest.
Yeah. There's really no consistency is the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess, Ryder, if you want to do the outro.
Oh yeah. So as always, as always, you can find this podcast on YouTube. We're on a bunch of other places like Google, Amazon, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and Anchor, and now we're on Samsung. Apparently, that was a surprise. Everyone seemed to like our Jurassic World coverage, so which means unfortunately for Crimson,
in Japan.
which is unfortunate for Crimson, we're probably going to come back to that franchise at some point.
It's okay with the franchise. It just hates Jurassic World.
Yeah. I'm talking about that specifics. And always, as always, I'm a geeky writer, local vampire bloodsucker.
Chris Warren.
I'm a character called the creature from the Sinister Lagoon.
And I'm Sprinks, watching out for the moonlight.
Yeah, and we will we'll catch you next time, everybody. See ya later.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, this was Halloween specials.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah, tune in next week for, what was it, the start of season 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, bye. Later, everybody.
Toodaloo.